Hey everyone. Hello. Hey Boston Nick. Hey Linda. Hey Pointer Lover. Hey Search and Rescue Canine Mom. Hey Sarah. What's up everyone? What a crazy 2 days it's been in true crime. I feel so weird with like a red lip. But I was like, you know what? I'm going for it tonight. Going for it. Oh man, it's been like a crazy 2 days. I didn't go live yesterday because I need a little day break to get some housework done. And hey Robert Warney, hola, Austin Nick. Good to see you too, Robert. And of course, on the day that I take a break, a bunch of stuff goes down, and a bunch of stuff went down today. So I kind of wanted to like stay at one topic, but there's just too much to talk about, so we'll talk about a bunch of stuff. Well, first off, Quinton Simon's mom was arrested, and they found. Hey, Thumbtha. Maybe I should wait a minute before I go into this. Let a little couple people get in here. So, what's everyone doing? Anyone start their Christmas shopping yet? I got like 2 things, and now I'm stressing. I'm stressing bad. Like, every year I tell myself, I'm going to do a little early, so I don't cram it in at like the last second. And then I cram it in at the last second. Hey, Parker. Hey, Jeremiah Johnson. Hey, Lori. It's just, I'm a procrastinator. That's just how I do things. I know. I do try and wait for Black Friday. I'm definitely going to do that. Because... Sorry, I just had why did they turn that off? You started today? Okay, good. I'm not the only one. I bought 2 gifts like 2 weeks ago, and then now I'm like, man, why didn't I get more stuff earlier? Because now, let me turn my phone things on. Hey, Pecan. I know. Look. All right. I was like, let me go for a different look tonight. I'm feeling feisty. And I did. Hold on, I'm checking all my settings real quick. Checking all my... shoot. No. Okay. All right. No, I didn't come from the company Christmas party. I just decided to be, to do it up. I'm trying different looks because I hear that certain different looks trigger the YouTube algorithm. So I have an experiment going on. I'm just trying this experiment out. We'll see if it works. And I'm cracking open a Red Bull. I'm telling you, Red Bull, you need to sponsor me because I drink whatever I like. Thank you, Pointer Lover. Actually, you know what? This will hold my lipstick in place. You're supposed to like put ice on your lips. Let me get it on my face. Yeah, no, it's just... Yeah, I'm all worried it's on my teeth. A date with YouTube. Yes, Princess Megan Elsa. Exactly. Hey, Jen. How you feeling, girl? I was like, let me try a different look. My video's up now of me and the band when we played on Halloween shows. Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out. What kind of stuff do you play? I was a DJ for like 10 years. I mean, I can still do it, but I like stopped doing parties. I'm going for the overly tired 40-year-old mom algorithm on my channel. Well, I've heard that like certain bright makeup will trigger it sometimes. And last time that I wore red lip, it worked. So I was like, let's try the red lip again, see how it goes. You know, I want to experiment, see if it actually works. You know, we'll experiment and see. But thanks, Jen. Thanks. Y'all are making me blush. Hey, Ella. I feel like I'm missing people. So what do you play, Jeremiah? Did I miss it? Hold on. Country and rock. Oh, I love country. By the way, y'all, if y'all like country, Luke Combs does a cover of Ed Sheeran's song called Dive, and it is the bomb. Like, it is so good. It was like you know when you hear a cover of a song and you're like, the song was meant to be like how the cover was rather than the original was? That's how I feel about it. Like, I feel like Luke Combs' version is better than Ed Sheeran's version. So check out me singing Blues Band. I hang you. I'll have to check it out once I get off here. I'll check it out. I do love country though. There's this band that comes around here in spirit, but my mind is on holiday. Thanks, Jen. Well, I'm glad you're here in spirit at least and can listen. Who is my favorite country artist? John Party, for sure. I love John Party. I don't know why. I just, like, he always has like fun, happy songs. I like John Party, Cole Swindell, and Luke Combs. They're all kind of like intertwined in my, like, I don't know if I have one better than the other, but they're all kind of intertwined in my top three. And of course, I love Luke Bryan. Who doesn't love a good Luke Bryan dance song, Oh, no, not Ryan. Not Ryan Upchurch. Although I do like his song with Luke Combs. Probably just because I really like Luke Combs. But last time I played a cover song, thought the divorce papers were going to be served. Oh, I know what you're talking about. The Alice in Chains song. I know, I heard that too. And I was like, no, not Alice in Chains. I'll tell you here's a couple other good covers. System of a Down does a great cover of Adam's song by Blink-182, but surprisingly, System of a Down's version is like sad, and it's just like it feels like the song should be that way because it's like sad lyrics, but Blink-182 is like, it's all right to tell me what you think about me, and it's all like hard, rough. But then System of a Down, which is normally like very upbeat and crazy sounding, they sing it very soft and sad, and it's a great cover. And what's the guy from Stained? Aaron Lewis, Black. When he covers Black, oh man, that gives me chills. Both versions I like equally. Hold on, I need a tissue. I just never ever be left alone by the allergies here. I've never heard the System of a Down Sound of Silence cover. I'll have to listen to it. All right. I like Morgan Wallen. Yeah. Cole Swindell is awesome, though. And you know what's crazy about Cole Swindell? I didn't know him and his gaming, I swear. I didn't know he wrote a lot of other country songs that other people, like he wrote a lot of songs that aren't his own, but like popular country songs, because every year I go to the Barefoot Country Music Festival. It's a big country festival they have in Wildwood, New Jersey, and it's on the beach. And Cole Swindell was there last year, and he sang all his songs that he actually wrote, but they're not his own, but they're like famous artist songs. And I was like, holy crap, I can't remember all of them right now, but like they're real popular songs that he wrote. I do love rock and roll too, Lori. I love everything because I was a DJ, but I really like heavy metal, and I really like old school, like 90s rap, and I love country, and which I never really loved country until that, like, I was always kind of like about country until that country band that would come to my bar like really got me into it, and then I started deep diving into country, and I just really started liking country music. Tupac for life. Yeah. Oh, don't get me started. I love Tupac. Well, I'm more of a Biggie fan. I'll give you that. Like, if I had to choose, Biggie's my number one, Tupac's my number two. 80s. Well, I mean, I like 80s rock, but I'm not a big fan of like 80s like pop music. Sorry, I'm like making all kinds of noise. Hey, 3-Boy Mom, thank you. I was going for a different look. I'm testing the YouTube algorithm because apparently if you wear bright makeup, they, sometimes it gets thrown on the algorithm. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it for science tonight and see. But I do love, I love Ambitions of a Rider and How Do You Want It? But Biggie's my favorite. Warning by Biggie is like, and I love a good DMX song too. This is the shit I'll be talking about. I love DMX. Give me Shania Twain in her glory days. I can see it. 90s is back in the 90s look, so. Troublesome is my favorite. Yeah, we were on that Bone Thugs kick the other night too, and I was like, open it, let's see if we win. We all suited, beg my pardon tomorrow, but we ain't marching, we shooting. I love that verse. I heard a different perspective on Debbie Collier today. Remember that text she sent? What if she meant the oxys wouldn't let her go, meaning she was, maybe. But didn't she have like back pain? Maybe she meant like the pain or something. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a different way to think about it. T.I., Fabulous, Beyonce, Jay-Z. Oh, Kane Brown. I like Kane Brown too. I like old Jay-Z. Like, and you know who I really love? Memphis Bleak. He's such an underrated rapper, but he always had like the best verses in all the Jay-Z songs. Really. Who the fuck? What? Catch Bleak in South Beach out the reach of the police. Get on my lap. Or what's that song of the Nutty Professor? Hey Poppy. That was a good one too. Don't get me started on music because I'll be rapping all night. Yeah, I was ready to be. So last time Kate listened to DMX, she had hard feelings towards an elderly. I think I said something like, DMX would make me want to beat up an old person or something like that. Yeah, I like early 90s Usher. Like, you make me want to leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship with you. This is what you do. And I love, if we're going to go the R&B route, I love Genuine. So 9 o'clock, all alone, paging you, wishing you'd come over. And my favorite R&B song of all time, the Isley Brothers, Contagious. That song was awesome. You're contagious, touch me, baby. And then the end, they're like, what the hell is going on between the sheets in my home? Baby, wait, let me explain before you start to point your kid. Oh, such a good song. I could do the whole part. I get so into that. Oh, man. But yeah, I DJ'd for like 10 years. And then and you know what I really, really enjoyed when I was, yeah, I like NF. I do. My hubby loves NF. I like NF, but he loves NF. Eddie Money, Van Halen, yeah. I listened to So at work on Sunday, I listen to like 70s rock, and they always have like Eagles on, with like Take It to the Limit. That's my jam. And Doobie Brothers, Sultans of Swing. They'll have a bunch of good, like old Metallica, stuff like that. They fell for that I love you and stomp a motherfucker vibe. Right? Right. Yeah, Eminem. Oh, I love Nas Ether. I love Ether. He kills Jay-Z in that song. I give it to him. Yeah, M. Old school M, though. I hate new M. I hate it. Like, that anger in him is gone, and like the fire is just not there for me anymore. But like old M, when he was mad and pissed and he didn't give a crap what people thought about him or what he said, I love that M. I mean, that M would never survive in this day and age, but I love it. And I miss the old Eminem. I wish Marshall, his alter ego Marshall, would come back and make an appearance and do another album and leave M, behind. Yeah, Ether's a banger. I really like old 70s R&B, like a Marvin Gaye, Come Get to This. I love that song. And Get Up, Get Down, Get Funky, Get Loose, Teddy Pendergrass, and like Earth, Wind and Fire, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. Sometimes I don't like I don't like his new sound. I like, Marshall Mathers would be hashtags off social media. I like old M, like old, first 3 albums. M. I miss those days. I do. Because that was like the best M ever. He would never be allowed to sing about the same stuff that he did back then. A lot of stuff he said back then was really like, Cher. I like Cher. I can get into some Cher. My aunt used to love Cher. It was such a weird, such a weird vibe. Every time me and my aunt and stuff would go down, we call it down the shore, it's to the beach, but every time we'd go down the shore, it would either be Cher, the Beatles, or the Sublime CD with like the Santeria, Garden Grove, What I Got on there, that CD. Although my favorite Sublime song is Don't Push. Oh yeah, I love Oh What a Night, Late December, Frankie Valli. There we go. I couldn't think of his name for a second. The Four Seasons. Elton John, Your Song, my parents' wedding song. She was well, that's probably because she wears those big ass platform shoes and that big hair. You know what I mean? She probably looks so much taller from all the stuff she wears, I imagine. Oh, I can go one day. We have like a cold going around, and my nose is like so itchy from blowing my nose all day. I forget what I was gonna say. What were we talking about? Cher. One day I will pull out my turntables. We could have a DJ session on my backup channel. Oh, that reminds me. I made a backup channel. It's gonna be like a lizard channel. Hold on a minute, guys. I'm gonna share the link for you. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna showcase my lizards, and I'm going to be like kind of like an off-topic channel, or we can talk about where I kind of just like can talk about whatever the hell I want that's not true crime related. Thanks, Annalise. Thank you. So that's the link for it that I shared. It's just gonna be like, if there's like, celebrity stuff we want to talk about, or some TikTok drama or something different than crime, we can just go on there and talk about it. And I'll do lizard videos. She's much taller than mine, but you still love her. Yes, thanks for coming, a member, Annalise. All right, I should probably get started talking about stuff. All right, so we'll start with Quinton Simon. I can't believe it. I am shocked. I mean, I am very happy they believe. Well, I'm not happy. You know what I mean? It's bittersweet. I'm relieved that they found him, but it's sad that watching your lizard do the Dougie. It's good, right? That is a good one. I would play it on here, but they'll copyright me. Yeah, everyone's been asking me for Cyndi Lauper. That's cool. Everyone's been saying, like, I'll tell you what, all my lizard videos get more attention than my crime videos. I'm not gonna lie. So, everyone's like, just make a lizard channel, do it. So I'm like, all right, you can do it. But yeah, Quinton Simon. So, Chatham County found remains in the landfill last Friday, so the 18th. And they didn't announce till yesterday that, I don't think they've been identified yet. I know, I'm shocked too, Jem. It's literally like a needle in a haystack, and I'm just so proud of Chief Hadley because I felt like he was determined and not going to stop until he found him, and he did. And I am that's okay, Linda. You can come for the lives, but you don't have to watch the lizard videos. I'm glad that I have you love lizards now, Annalise. I have turned people to love lizards, and that was my plan. I want to teach people that, they are good pets, and that they aren't just like throwaway pets, and that they're, just can be just as cute as dogs. And I would play it. I would have to mute it though, because they'll copyright me on here if I play the Dougie one. I'm not monetized on that one, so I could do the lizard Dougie one. But so how I did that was when lizards, they don't want any trouble with another lizard, they'll wave. So they'll go like this. And then I reversed it, so it was like, looks like it was doing the Dougie, and it was funny. It went so perfect too. Anyway, I'm just really impressed with Chief Hadley that I only like Kate's as long as they live in her house. Yeah, they definitely defied the odds. Thanks, it's me, Jay. Welcome to my membership. I'm calling it the Lizard Lounge, and I'll tell you why. I had no idea that a group of lizards is actually called a lizard lounge, but I Googled it and was like, what is a group of lizards called? And it said a group of lizards is called a lounge per Google. I always thought that was like kind of like a play on words, but apparently it's not. It's like a real thing. Like, I had no idea. Hold on 1 second. So yeah, yeah, I know. He did cry at the end of the presser. How sad was that? He had me so upset. Like, I was tearing up during the presser because I'm like, oh my God, like you could tell that it meant so much to him. I hope you like my custom emojis, Jay. I worked really hard on them and they're cute. Yeah, he did look exhausted, and they I mean, it's really like finding a needle in a haystack, and they found that needle in a haystack, and I'm just so impressed with them. And I just want to say, I know Betty and MGL and Dolly and them really think that they did something, but they didn't. This was all the police. This was all their month-long tireless search through trash. I mean, I'm just glad that they were able to do it before the holidays, able to spend time with their family, that they were able to find him, and I commend them for doing a really great job. And I'm sure most of you seen Billy Joe was on Queen Bee's channel last night, and I do feel really bad for her. Like, it has to be so hard for her to lose a grandson and then lose a daughter, but like knowing that you lost your daughter under those circumstances, it just really sucks. Yeah, she was in rehab. Per Billy Joe. Hopefully I said all this right because it's her story, and I want to make sure that she seems like she really wants it to be out there and people know that she said she couldn't stand to like be for her, like her mental health. She was struggling with her mental health being around Leilani in the same house, and she knew that she would need help, and so she sent her. Hey, Lynn. She sent her to a like facility for treatment, and she was there. I guess it'd be around 2 weeks, and Leilani they had called her mom, or they called BJ and said Leilani was going to check herself out, that she wanted like her to come get her. Yeah, they were taking credit for, part of me was thinking maybe they meant like they picked her up from the FBI office, but still Billy Joe had taken her to the FBI office herself. But in a nutshell, she went there to go pick her up, and she wanted to check out, and possibly because maybe she knew something had happened, and she knew it was coming down to the wire, and she thought she was just going to come home with Billy Joe, and Billy Joe picked her up, and she took her to a Chinese buffet to have their last meal, which I think any mother would want to do with their kid, knowing that they may, not see them, be able to like spend time with them in person again. You know what I mean? Like, not on like a phone or behind a wall or whatever. And she had her last meal, and then she took her to, the FBI office, and dropped her off. She said she gave her a hug and said, you're going to do this alone. I mean, I don't think, here's the thing, like, of course she holds some responsibility, being that she left Leilani alone with the kid. But I think anybody will know that, nobody's perfect and everyone makes parenting mistakes. And she did have a system set up so that Leilani didn't really have the kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, she had a system in place, but the problem is that the babysitter wasn't going to trump the mother of the child. You know what I mean? So when she left a message saying, oh, the kid's not going to come today, the babysitter's not going to be like, well, I'm coming anyway, because it's not her kid, it's Lonnie's kid. Yeah, she didn't leave her alone per se, but she had plans, you know what I mean? It wasn't like she just left the kids there to their own devices, you know what I mean? Like they were supposed to go to a babysitter every day. She had plans, and I don't think she should face any charges or anything like that. And I do think she made a grave mistake, and she's going to probably beat herself up for that forever. But I think every parent wants to believe that their kids are, you know what I mean, can do good. And no parent's ever going to think that their kid is capable of doing that, you know? So it's a terrible, terrible mistake, and it sucks. And I'm sure she's going to, you know, drive herself crazy with her own thoughts on that. And but I don't think she should, you know, be in trouble for that. Or I think, you know, she just made a terrible mistake, and everybody makes mistakes. And, you know, I think everybody does something really friggin' stupid in their life that they wish they hadn't done. And parenting is kind of like one of those things where you just kind of like wing it, and like you don't really have a plan, and you just, you know, you do your best. And I think she tried to do her best in that situation, you know, working and providing for a household and trying to have someone else babysit the kids. I mean, I think she was trying really hard, and it just, you know, something terrible happened that nobody would ever expect to happen. Okay, sounds good. It's me, Jay. Thanks for listening while you play video games. But yeah, I do feel really bad for her, because I mean, she loses like a lot in all this, you know what I mean? Like her kid, her grandkid, for, you know, it sucks. And I think, you know, as a mother, I feel bad for her, because I couldn't imagine ever having to you know, drop my kid off, and my own kid being responsible for my grandkid's death. So just, it's a really shitty position to be in. Pam, try this. Oh, there you go, Nightbot. Try the link Nightbot just shared. And but yeah, I do feel really bad for her. And the cops didn't say that she brought Leilani to the station, which they should have, but it was probably one of those things where she brought Leilani to the FBI office, and then the cops came and picked her up from the FBI office. So maybe there's like miscommunication there. Oh, that's my hubby playing video games. He has headphones on, and he's always yelling in the background. So if you hear yelling in the background, it's usually him. I can't get far enough away from him in the house so that you can't hear him. I've tried, but it doesn't work. Yeah, I don't agree with people crucifying her. I mean, it's just, I don't think there's a parent in the world who hasn't made a terrible mistake that they regret, you know, and I'm sure most of these mistakes don't lead to this, but, you know, people want, I think she really did try to, you know, make the best of that situation and keep the kids, like, for the most part, away from the daughter, besides at night, and the boyfriend was there. So I don't think Danny is involved. I don't know why. I mean, I feel like they would charge him if he was, but I just never got the vibe that he was involved. And I do hope that, you know, Billy Joe can get her grandkids back at least. And it sucks. This is right before the holidays. It has to be like so shitty. Thank you, Pam. Welcome. It worked. Yay. The link worked. So yeah. It's just an all-around crappy situation, but yeah, I just never got to feel that he was involved. Part of me feels like maybe she had texted him and was like, hey, can you call the babysitter and tell him he's not coming today or something, you know? And then when he left for work, that's when everything went down. I just don't think he's involved. I don't know why, but I don't. So right now, she doesn't have the grandkids. As far as I know, I believe they were taken because Leilani was still living at the house. I believe they were taken by CPS or Child Protective Services. And I believe that's where the other 2 children are now, unless the newborn is with her dad. I'm not really sure, but the Nightbot one doesn't work on iPhone, but the one Sarah has worked. They're the same one, though, aren't they? They're the same link. It's weird. Hold on. Let me see what Sarah's is. It's the same exact link. That's weird. Like, it's literally the same URL that's on Nightbot and that Sarah put. I don't know why it doesn't work. I'll have to try something else. But they're the same URL. Maybe if I just do the URL without the little message with it, I don't know. It's strange. My conflict is she was left alone with the kids for 5 minutes or 5 days. Doesn't matter because she was left alone. And she killed them. Otherwise, you know, I get what you're saying, Pamela. I get it, but I just feel like nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? And everyone makes mistakes. And of course, you know, she's never going to. Nobody's ever going to think that your kid is capable of doing that. So, like, that's, you know, you're going to do your best to take the kid, you know, have something else arranged for the kids. But, like, if you don't foresee that outcome, you know, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to foresee that outcome. You're going to just do the best you can and not think that would ever happen. That's all I'm saying. It's like, I get what, yeah, she's going to live with this forever. And it's just, you know, I feel like the worst punishment that somebody can have anyway, you know? And yeah, that was, I agree, Pecan, her cooperating. And yeah, I agree. I hope she gets the children back. I do. Because she's like, you could tell she's heartbroken over this. I mean, who wouldn't be? Imagine any mother could relate, you know, losing your kid and your grandkid. It's, you know, yeah, she'll question herself forever too. Like, you know, what if I had done something different? Or what if I, you know, and I'm sure if the babysitter had called her and said, hey, look, Leilani said the baby's not coming today, she would have been like, well, go get him, you know? But even the babysitter probably wasn't anticipating that. And I mean, that's pretty bad when, like, I don't know, the babysitter takes the kid every day and you're only responsible really to, like, watch this kid for, like, what, 1 hour in the whole day. And this happens, you know what I mean? Like, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I have no, like, Leilani, she's just gross to me, and I hope she gets everything she deserves, honestly. Yeah, I agree. It's like she doesn't need anyone's judgment, and she's going to judge herself for the rest of her life over that. I mean, I do think it's kind of strange that the babysitter is playing both sides, and, like, I don't really care for the babysitter, but, like, other than that, I appreciate the babysitter for, I guess, taking care of the babies every day. And I mean, like, I don't like hate the woman, but I also don't really care for her. Like, I don't see a reason to crucify the babysitter. I just, like, I don't feel like the woman should be crucified, but I just don't really care for her, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, no one's first go-to thought would be what ended up happening, of course. Like, nobody's ever going to see that, but, like, foresee that, Did you think Leilani... I don't think she ever thought Leilani was capable of murder. I think she thought Leilani was capable of being a bad parent, like a shitty parent, but... And of course she was... if she had the kids going to a babysitter every day, then of course I feel like she worried that the kids needed to be fed and supervised, Yeah. I just like... I think BJ tried to do the best, make the best of the situation so that she could work, take care of her family, so that the babies were being babysat. You know what I mean? I think she tried to do the best that she could, and it still, went to crap. And I just really, I always like... I just had that bad feeling about Leilani from the beginning, especially when she did that interview. And that, like, I have never, besides OJ, I have never seen someone say, if I did it, I will walk myself down to that police station. Like, if you're innocent, why would anyone who's innocent say, if I did it? You know what I mean? Like, who says that? Who says, if I did it, I'll walk myself down to the police station? If you're innocent, you're like, no, I didn't do it. I never did that. And I will not take myself down to the police station because I'm innocent. But that right there was like, yeah, she definitely did this. Oh, yeah. BJ definitely doesn't deserve the hate she's getting. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, if you're innocent, you wouldn't say that for sure. Yeah, definitely not throwing out hypotheticals if I'm innocent. Yeah, me neither. This is what I think she got this from. So remember, like, Chronicles of Olivia did that video where she interviewed like all the protesters, and a lot of them were saying that like they couldn't have babies, and that they were upset because they couldn't have a baby themselves, and they would have taken that baby or whatever. And then, like, right after that, she does this interview, and she's like, I think maybe someone, who couldn't have a baby really wanted a baby and maybe took him, and I hope they're just feeding him and taking care of him. Like, come on. I feel like maybe she's seen that video and got inspiration from that and was like, all right, let me run with that. But that just, like, no tears, just fake. Yeah, I'm hoping it was an accident too, but it doesn't sound like it. I mean, here's my thing. I don't know if they really even know anything, like if they know a cause of death yet, but they're charging her with malice murder, which is like, it means you had intent and forethought. Like, you intentionally did it with forethought. I mean, I guess it's comparable to like first degree murder. I guess that's what they call first degree murder, because that's what it... I don't know why they just don't have that for everywhere, but malice is... I'll read off. Homicide is done with express or implied malice, which is malice is a deliberate intention to unlawfully take away the life of a human being. So they're charging her with deliberately murdering him. And it's similar to first-degree murder, basically. It says it right here. Which, she could get the death penalty for this. She could. Yeah, it means it's premeditated and intentional. Like she thought about it and wanted to do it and did it. Like, that's what first degree pretty much is. Now, there's different, like first degree could be like you decide it a minute before you do it, or you just, but yeah, Georgia has a death penalty. She could totally get the death penalty for this. I'm pretty sure even, was it Hadley in the press conference said, it was like, or one of the cops, it was maybe the other guy, said that she'll do life in prison or be put to death. Like, he even said that. So, let me see. I can read the Georgia code. All right, so a person commits the offense of murder when he unlawfully and with malice aforethought, either express or implied, causes the death of another human being. Express malice is that deliberate intention unlawfully to take the life of another human being, which is manifested by external circumstances capable of proof. Malice shall be implied where no considerable provocation appears, and where all the circumstances of the killing show an abandoned and malignant heart. So, like a hostile heart. A person commits the offense of murder when, in the commission of a felony, he or she causes the death of another human being, irrespective of malice. Oh, and if anyone wants to come up, let me share the link. Sorry, I'd be forgetting to do that. Hey, Amory. Yeah, no innocent person says that. That's just so crazy to me to hear that. A person commits the offense of murder in the second degree when, in the commission of cruelty to children in the second degree, he or she causes the death of another human being, irrespective of malice. Person convicted of the offense of murder shall be punished by death, by imprisonment for life without parole, or by imprisonment for life. So, I mean, here's my thing too. I don't think they will give her a plea deal, because I think they have a solid case, and I don't think they'll allow that. They have the body. Like, they have nothing to make a deal about. You know what I mean? They have the body. They have her on camera dumping the body, and, probably a slew of other evidence. It makes me wonder if they did find anything in the home when they did the luminol, because he said that they had a case even without, they had a really good case even without the body, but he really wanted just to find his body, to lay him to rest and whatever, and plus having a body makes the case much more, you're definitely going to have a good case with a body. You're going to have a hard time, but without a body. But he said that they had a pretty good case without the body. So that makes me believe maybe they had some other evidence that was pretty damning, like in the house or something, because they said they believed they had a case regardless. Yeah, I think so too, Pecan and Thumb Thug. I think they have something after that, like from the house, like blood, or they got something, in my opinion. All these sound about people getting love with BJ in this whole case. Yeah. The protesters. That they drive me crazy. Nobody should be screaming outside people's house and acting a fool and I mean, thankfully they didn't, get in the way of the police, but come on, like it's disgusting. Like there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to get involved. Like putting yourself outside the homes and screaming and making signs, it's just gross, and there's no reason to do that. And they do it for clicks and views, clearly. And I don't even like giving them attention about it because I just can't stand them. I hate it. So, I think, has everyone seen the press conference? Like, do you guys want me to play any of that? I can play it if people haven't seen it. But I can pretty much break it down for you that they said they found remains, that they were sent away to be identified, but they're pretty sure that they're Quinton's. And I think that they knew because they had found something that was also like dumped with him, or that was seen on camera or something, because on Thursday they said they believed they were getting really close, and then on Friday they found him. So I believe maybe they found something else on Thursday that they knew they were getting around that area. And then they basically said they arrested Leilani, what she's charged with, that Leilani shouldn't be able to have a Thanksgiving, and that Quinton should be having a Thanksgiving. And Chief Hadley got really choked up towards the end, and it was really sad. I can show you guys Leilani's mugshot too. Yeah, I feel bad for just all those people who had to dig. Imagine how disgusting that is to have to dig through trash for like a whole month. I mean, that's a tough job. Like, that's digging through trash for a whole month. Like, I give hats off to them for doing that. Like, for real. There's her mugshot. Yeah, maybe partial clothing, or like a bin that he was in or something, or a bag. Yeah, BHB got Leilani arrested. She really believes it too. Like, cracks me up. She really believes it. Like, yeah, okay, lady. Yeah, I think so too, Thumb Thug. I think they knew exactly what they were looking for. They knew what he would be in. I wouldn't even, hey, Risk, I wouldn't even know what to do if it wasn't his remains. Like, that would be wild. But I'm sure they were able to, see that it was a child, and, but that would be wild. I'd be really upset. I mean, that would really suck. But yeah, I think they were looking for a particular thing that they saw in this video, and they knew, like what they were looking for, and that's how they knew they were close. All right, and Delphi. Let me move on to. Well, you know what? Let's show a cute little picture of Quinton before I move on, because how cute is he? I don't know how anybody could hurt this kid, because he's like, where is that one? Look at his face. Look how cute he is. He is the cutest little kid. The one where he has his hair slicked back. Oh my goodness. Wonder if I can find it. This one, I love this picture of him. How adorable is he? I love that picture. How cute. All right. They did preliminary. Yeah, they were able to tell it was human remains, but I guess, they're able to tell that they're, roughly around his age, and that they're human. So they probably feel, and like I said, I think they had an idea of what they were looking for, like what he was wrapped in or whatever, and they had found that. And then found him, so I think that's how they're sure that it's him. Doesn't he? He does look like a cute little cartoon character. Like, he's got the like big eye. He's just the cutest thing ever. Like, I can't believe that, like, anyone could hurt that kid because he's adorable. So Delphi. I'm a little disappointed because I was hoping that the stuff would get unsealed because I'm nosy. Not that it should. I get why like it should stay sealed, but I'm nosy and I want to know everything about it. Yeah. Probably very bittersweet pecan for sure. All right, so I've been suspecting this for a while now. All right, so after reading, this has been my theory. After reading about Kagan and his alleged ring, like PORN, you know what I mean? That ring. It started to get me thinking because, all right, so Kagan researched a gas station that was in Delphi that particular day. Marathon gas station, I believe it was. And he lived in Peru at the time. So, like, why would you research Marathon gas station? Well, I think, all right, so then Kagan posed, I should probably explain this a little better if people don't understand this. So, all right, if anyone doesn't know about Delphi, two girls were walking on a trail. They notice a guy following them. They take a little video. They have audio of the guy telling them to go down a hill, and then they're killed viciously in the yard of this guy, Ron Logan. It was on his property. He had a lot of property by the creek, by the trail, and they were killed on his property. Well, it comes out, like, they've been looking for the perp. You know, they have like a short video of him, but it's not clear enough to tell who he is, but you have an idea of what he looks like, and you have an idea of what his voice is, but you still can't figure out who he is. Well, they start looking into this guy, Kagan Klein. And they unraveled that he literally has been partaking in this huge PORN ring that like the biggest one Indiana's ever seen in their history. Okay? And they find all these pictures on multiple accounts, and he's messaging multiple people in a chat and sending them photos. So, like, people would message him and say, do you have any photos of a child between 7 and 13? He'd be like, yeah, and he'd send them over. So it was a lot of men talking to each other under female names. And Kagan posed under this fake account called Anthony Shots. He had this picture of this young kid who looked like Justin Bieber, who was supposedly rich, and he pretended to be this guy and started talking to all these young girls, saying he has a Ferrari, he would send them money, and they were just smitten with this kid, thinking that it was, you know, that was who he was, but it was really this really disgusting creep named Kagan Klein. Let me show you him. And let me show you what Anthony Shots look like. So anyway, Kagan was talking to Liberty German, one of the victims, the day that she went missing, as Anthony Shots. And so after she, you know, they get murdered, Liberty's friend, who still believes that he's Anthony Schatz messages him and says, hey, did you hear about Abby and Libby? And he goes, oh, yeah, I was supposed to meet them, but she never showed up. That's what he told the girl. He was supposed to meet them. That's Kegan. Here's Kegan. And here is who he was posing as. And Liberty was in love with this guy. Like, she thought he was the bee's knees. You know what I mean? And I believe he lured them there under the guise of Anthony Schatz. And I believe he lured them there for Richard Allen. That's just my theory. It's not fact. It's just my theory, allegedly. So they go there, I believe, because they thought they were going to meet Anthony Schatz. And then Richard Allen is there. Or another guy. We don't even know now, because now they're saying they believe that Richard Allen may have not acted alone. There's also a lot of theories that Ron Logan could have been involved too, and Bridge Guy really does look like Ron Logan. If you compare, Bridge Guy has a hat on that has like little divots in it. Then if you look at Ron Logan's hat, it has little divots in it, and he's wearing like a blue jacket. Ron Logan has the same blue jacket. I know a lot of people don't want to believe he's involved. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying he really looks like Bridge Guy. But I definitely think Kegan lured them there. And maybe Richard Allen's Bridge Guy. I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore, because yeah, jump on. Here, I'll share the link again. Well, Nick. So yeah, now they're not unsealing it because they suspect he may have not worked alone. So now I'm really like, do we think that maybe Kegan lured them there, and that Richard maybe filmed it or like took pictures or something for their ring for money? I mean, and here's the other thing. Kegan and Richard Klein both lived like on the same block in Peru, supposedly. Like, they live very close to each other. So there may be a connection there between the two. And then here's another thing. Doug Carter tried to say that there is no connection between the two, but Kegan's attorneys just filed a motion to extend his trial because he is still in negotiations with law enforcement. So why is Kegan in negotiations with law enforcement? Why is Kegan in negotiations with law enforcement? Right around the time he's in negotiations, Richard Allen gets arrested. And there's more people involved. Something fishy is going on here. And I think it's all connected in some weird way with this PORN ring. I am convinced. I don't know how, but I just feel that way in my heart. Like, I really do. Because they lived very, very close to each other. They really just want to redact witnesses and possible ties to others. I think that's fair. Yeah, I agree, Pam. I think they should at least, like, I mean, all they're gonna, like, I don't know. I'm being nosy. I want to know what happened, but I guess they can't really release why they arrested him because I feel like somebody probably tipped them off to him. I don't know, but I do, from what I'm hearing, Ellie said that he stole a tool from a friend or from a neighbor, and then they used that to get a search warrant, and then they found, this is just rumor, Abby's jacket. Now, previously I looked over the Ron Logan search warrant, and they do say that the killer took a jacket from Libby. Well, jacket was blurred out, but you can tell from the way the letters were that it was either jacket, scarf, or I can't remember the other word I came up with. And then the other one was sock. So I'm pretty sure it was jacket, but I think they found the jacket. That's what I'm hearing. I can't say for sure. It's just what I'm hearing, which is totally speculation. But yeah, that's what everyone was saying, that he was thoroughly investigated and cleared. I just think that one particular picture looks a lot like him. I'm not saying that he was the one who actually killed them. I'm just saying that he looks like he could be Bridge Guy. But, what does it matter anyway? He's dead now. But yeah, the killer took a sock. According to Ron Logan's arrest warrant, the killer took a sock and a jacket, I believe. I mean, sock is a definite. You could definitely tell it says sock. The other one, I'm pretty sure it's a jacket. I don't know. After reading Tony Klein, after reading Kagan's thing, I just don't get the feel that Tony's involved. I don't know why, but I don't. I feel like the way Kagan talked about him, he was like, oh my God, I can't, I would never tell my dad that. My dad would disown me if he found out I talked to young girls. And they were like, well, your dad does know because we told him. So I don't know. I don't know if Tony's involved. I know Tony's a really shit freaking person and he's a bad person, but I don't know if he's involved. But I do think that these killings were in connection with that PORN ring. And I think that maybe they filmed the killings or something like that and were selling it on the dark web or something of those nature, just because I just get that feeling about it. I do. And I feel like Kagan lured them there. I do. We'll find out though. I mean, have they said that Ron Logan was cleared? Like, have they ever officially said that? Or did he just pass? Because, I mean, there's always a difference between cleared and just not having anything, There needs to be a stronger, yeah. I mean, I just, like, the one picture, I just can't shake out. Like, let me see if I can find it. And I'll show you guys what I mean. I know Jason Jensen, the PI guy, was the one who shared. It's just a particular angle that I'm talking about. Hold on. I know I can just look up his Facebook and find it. There's a particular angle where you zoom in and you can see divots in its hat, and it's really super strange. I'm gonna pull it up. Here we go. I just can't shake this picture. Like I said, I don't know if he's involved in the killings or if he was just walking there or if he's Bridge Guy or what. But look at the divots in his hat. And then look here. He has like, hold on. See the divots? See the divot right here? And then it goes up a little bit and then it divots again. Look at that hat. I've never seen a lot of hats that do that. Like, maybe, unless there's like a place nearby that sells hats like that, but like, I've never seen hats that divot in there and there. Usually it sticks out, like it sticks up. And the hat, and look, from this angle, it looks like his nose and mustache. Like, you can see the shape of his nose. And it looks like a mustache over the side. This is the only one, like, this drives me crazy. I don't know why, but it does. Oh yeah, take your time, Boston. I don't know. I'm not discounting Ron Logan, but It doesn't matter because he's passed, but I'm not discounting him because that looks too much. I've never seen a hat like that. Unless that's like a style around there. I don't know. Maybe around there they pushed the little insides of their hat in. But I don't see anyone ever pushing the insides of their hat in. It does look like the same hat, right? Have you ever seen anyone do that? No, it's definitely. It looks like a baseball cap to me. I think it's really in the eye of like the beholder. Here, I'm gonna share the link if anyone wants to actually look at it closer. Listen, I don't care about y'all nose. It was on his property, and it looks like him, so he's definitely on the list of my suspects. I can't discount him. I personally just think it's Kegan and Richard, and maybe that's just like a local like hat thing. I don't know, but I can't discount Ron Logan, and I haven't actually seen him ever be cleared. So, but that's the link if anyone wants to look closer. Hey Johnny, I wasn't sure if I just said it or not. Hold on. All right, here we go about Richard Allen. It says, an Indiana judge said Tuesday. Oh, wait, no. What's today? Oh, yeah, it is today. An Indiana judge said Tuesday that she will decide soon whether to unseal court records that led to a man's arrest in 2017 killings of 2 teenage girls, while a prosecutor urged the court to keep the documents sealed because others could be involved in the case. Unless they just think that, like, because of this PORN ring, that there could be, other people. Special Judge Fran Gull said she'd decide the matter in due haste after she listened to arguments from attorneys for 50-year-old Richard Matthew Allen and the county prosecutor. Gull acknowledged that there is great public interest in the case against Delphi, Indiana, man who was arrested last month and charged with 2 counts of murder in the killings of 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abigail Abby Williams. The probable cause affidavit and charging information against Allen have not been publicly released since they were sealed last month at the request of Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McClellan. McClellan said that during today's hearing that authorities have good reason to believe Allen is not the only person connected to the killings. He said that if the affidavit were to be released without redactions, witnesses could be harassed. So I wonder who would be a witness. Probably Kegan, right? I think Kegan is the witness, and he's ratting all these MFers out. Hey.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on this? Do you follow the Delphi case?
Yeah, I don't know much about your channel. I'm new here, so again, thank you. But I've been following the case for some years, and I do have some thoughts. Is my audio okay?
Yeah, it's fine. I can hear you.
Man, I was so shocked when they arrested Richard Allen.
I was too.
I guess
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, he was on no one's radar, And then I heard the story that he developed some photos at the pharmacy and then gave them to Libby for free. Mm-hmm. And I was like, ooh, that's so creepy and weird.
His family, yeah, for the funeral. I guess they got like pictures developed for the funeral, and they gave he gave the family pictures for free. But I don't think anybody expected this guy. I mean, he was definitely like, random. Mm-hmm. How do you think they caught on to him? Like, what's your
I thought, so when they arrested him out of nowhere and he came out of nowhere, I thought, man, they got him dead to rights, up against the ropes. Like, they got a solid case. But then from what I hear, and, from his attorneys, which of course they would say this, that the probable cause affidavit is flimsy. So what I would say to your question is, I'm afraid that I've kind of just done a 180 in the past 24 hours, and where I thought that they had a very strong case for some reason, now I'm thinking they don't. I don't
I think they still have a strong case. I just think, like they said, I think that it's bigger than just like I think it involves Kegan. I think Kegan tipped them off to this guy, and because it all happened conveniently all around the same time. All right, so like I think it was in July. Kegan, they were searching the river near Kegan's home in Peru for something, and then uh his his pretrial hearing was October 25th, and like a week before his pretrial hearing, they arrest Richard Klein, which it all or Richard Allen. Sorry, I'm getting their last names mixed up. So Kegan's pretrial hearings coming up, and then they arrest Richard Allen right before them, and then Kegan's lawyers request extra time because they say Kegan is still in negotiations with them, with like law enforcement, and now they're saying that there may be others involved and they don't want their witness harassed. So that makes me believe that Kegan knows a lot of people. That's like, I think it's connected to that ring, and I think he knows a lot of the people, and I think he's giving them names, and they think that maybe other people are involved. But other people claim that they were tipped off, like they found him totally by accident, and that he had stolen a tool from the neighbor, and that it was a felony because he trespassed. Like, not, it was something really small, but because he went into the neighbor's shed, it's felony trespassing. So they had to take him in and fingerprint him and whatever, and then they got something from there, and that's when they searched his house. But I don't believe that. Like, I feel like they purposely drummed up something to get a search warrant. And like I believe the tool thing happened, but I believe they purposely drummed that up so they could search his house, if that makes sense.
I think that, and if I was just to speculate, because we have to, I guess, at this point, which is bizarre. This whole case is bizarre, and it's my favorite. It's my favorite case to follow. It's just so fascinating, and I've been following it for several years. And of course, this part of it, of course, is no letdown either. It's fascinating. What is going on? It's unprecedented. They got this probable cause affidavit sealed up, and what I think is that I'm inclined to believe the neighbor theory. I think he stole something from the neighbor. I think that someone either witnessed him steal it and or shortly thereafter bury something. I think that it could have possibly been caught on one of these cameras. And I think that if he was caught stealing something from a neighbor and took it into his house and then shortly later was burying something in his backyard, I think they could get a search warrant just based off of that, whether it's a felony or not. And then I think that it's possible, and I'm going down a rabbit hole, that when they did go dig up whatever they saw him buried, that they found other things, that's when I think that possibly they found something that tipped them off to his connection to the Delphi case.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that happened too, but I feel like there's got to be another connection to this if they think other people may be involved. Like, there's got to be, like, where does that part fit in if it was just a random tool thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if the case against Richard Allen is weak, this case against this other unnamed person that might have been involved is even much weaker. And if they knew that someone else was involved, if they knew who it was, certainly that person would be charged as well. But I don't think that they definitely don't know who it was, and I don't even think that they know that there was another person and I'm not convinced Richard Allen is the guy.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think Keegan? They might have Keegan where he's at right now because he might know that many more people in this ring type thing.
I do.
And they're
Like
trying
because if you read, okay, so it's really long, but if you read Kagan's second interrogation, I don't know if they have the first one out, but I know it's the second one that you can find. He talked, so when they're confronting him, they talk about him having Kick Messenger chat. I don't know anything about it. I've never had it, but they were bringing up that specific people, they would be under female names like Emily or Emma. They would message him and they would give like an age range, like, 7 to 13. Do you have any 7 to 13-year-old pics? And then Kagan would be like, oh yeah, sure, and send them over, and the other people would do it vice versa. So I think he knew a couple of those people who were part of that, and he gave names, and that's how they got tipped off to Richard. And I think that this tool thing, like maybe they found some kind of loophole so they can, like
bring him in. That was like the way to get him in.
Yeah. But that's why I think they're saying that there may be other people involved, because I feel like Kagan may have lured them there and Richard actually did the killing. I believe they found something on his property that can tie him there. Like, I think that there definitely is something that could tie him there. And yet, Linda, it's gross. If you act like, it was actually really hard reading it. It took me like 3 hours to read the whole interrogation, and it was gross, the stuff that these guys were talking about. I mean, they were like literally messaging girls and saying the most foul things to 12-year-old girls, pretending that they were 12-year-old girls or 12-year-old boys or whatever. Like, it was terrible.
And I read it. I read it as well. And I think what you're talking about is the transcripts that were leaked by the murder sheet. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And what's fascinating by that is that those transcripts were corroborated by law enforcement, right? Oh, no, they weren't.
They weren't?
They were never
confirmed. So where did Murder Sheet get them from then? Like, where?
That's quite interesting. And the story changed right off the bat a couple of times, but they claim that it was accidentally posted to a website, and they got it off of that website because they just happened to be searching at the right time, I suppose. But now, from what I understand, is to post on that website, you have to have a login and a password and a username, and it would be very easy to track down who posted that, even if it was accidentally. But guess what? That person has never been held accountable. So what I'm getting at, and hear me out.
I thought they like ordered these I thought they were like ordered transcripts from.
No. The transcripts have never been confirmed or denied by law enforcement, and they will never be, because I think.
Well, I mean, what's it called? They're never going to admit that. But he was arrested for all the things that they talked about. So, it doesn't corroborate completely, but we do know that he was arrested for all the things they talk about in the transcript. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we do know that he was. Let's look at his charge. Hold on.
Like, it goes hand in hand, right? Because the transcripts and then the stuff they're saying.
Well, like, what he was charged with would suggest that it's hold on. Like the New York Post, for instance. Indiana child PORN suspect tied to Delphi murder, soliciting S favors from prison. Like, they. I'm trying to see if I can find like a list of his charges real quick.
Does he have a lot of priors?
I don't know. Hold on. Let me just look up Kagan Klein charges. But he was charged with child exploitation, possession of child porn, and obstruction of justice. I think he has a bunch of charges now, like way more than that. All right, here we go. We're on November 7th. A Miami County judge has officially dismissed 5 charges against Kegan Kline, a man linked to, he dismissed ones. Dismissed on the basis that there is insufficient evidence to prove said counts beyond reasonable doubt by trial. He's charged with 30 counts, including child exploitation, possession of child porn, obstruction of justice, and others, all stemming from an investigation into the social media profile Anthony Schatz, which is part of a larger Delphi investigation. So, even if those transcripts aren't real, let's just say, he still is connected to that. And he still did the Anthony Schatz account. It does tie together. You know what I mean? For nobody to know this information, then there's transcripts that come out, and then this information did actually exist.
There's like right there. Yeah.
There's a link there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think he admitted even on video interview with HLN that he created the accounts. Yeah, and that Anthony Schatz account he did, and and hey, look, I'll get straight to it. There's an account out there in the true crime community called Wife Lilith. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's like wife_Lilith. And she is someone who claims to be the current girlfriend of Kegan Kline. Yeah. And she claims to visit him in prison and talk to him often. Yeah. And she claims that the transcripts are bogus. And she claims that he claims that. Okay. Now you would say, hey, well, of course he's going to tell his girlfriend that.
Yeah.
And I hear you. But here's what I'm saying. Even if he is guilty of creating the account, even if he is guilty of asking young girls for pictures, which he allegedly denies, okay, that doesn't necessarily tie him to the murders. And even if he had direct correspondence
with... No, it doesn't necessarily tie him, but I do think there's a connection based off how, like, the timing of everything. You know what I mean? Like, his lawyers are claiming he's currently in negotiations, and as he's in negotiations right before his pretrial hearing, which a pretrial hearing is a hearing where you basically try and work things out before you go to court. So, like, he's in talks with them, then Richard Kline gets arrested, then there's supposedly there may be more people involved, and he's still in negotiations. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like he may be connected.
Do you think he's giving people up right now? You think he might be just giving? You think he might be just giving some people up right now? And
I think that. I mean, I think that's why he's, in negotiations or whatever. Like, I just think the timing is very, suspicious, I guess.
Yeah,
at the very least. Let me push back on you softly and say that if the timing is suspicious of that, and that's what leads you to believe that he's involved with the other thing, then couldn't you apply that same logic to Richard Allen's search warrant of his backyard and the fact that they found some stuff in his house and the neighbor's complaint that something got stolen? And what if they just searched his house and then later he gets charged with the murder? Wouldn't you tie those things together as well?
Oh, yeah. I think that the reason why they searched his house is because of Kegan. And I think that I think the tool thing was like a guise for them to go in there. And I think they found something, and that's why they charged him with murder. I mean, they couldn't charge him unless they did find something. So they had to have found something when they searched his house.
Right. And we agree on that part of it. Mm-hmm. But how could the neighbor make up that he stole something and they get probable cause for a search warrant?
She could have no, I'm not saying that the neighbor made it up. I'm just saying that, like, how can I explain it? I don't think the neighbor made it up, but I feel like it was close timing. I mean, it could have just happened by accident, but I feel like I don't think the neighbor made it up either.
That'd be a crazy coincidence, right?
I'm sorry.
That'd be a very crazy coincidence, right?
Yeah,
It's not.
like I don't think the neighbor made up that he took something out of their shed.
No, I don't either. And if what you're saying is, oh yeah, but the police were just waiting for this guy who's never committed really any crimes to steal something from the neighbors so that we could get a search warrant so that we could go in there and find, I don't know. That's a far fetched for me. I don't know about that. And what I would say is that I don't trust law enforcement, and I don't believe what they would say, and because they can lie during the course of investigation. And what's convenient about these transcripts is it wasn't allegedly leaked by law enforcement, so they don't have to confirm it. They don't have to deny it. They can say, "Oh, what, huh?" And I think that it serves a purpose, and it could potentially, possibly serve their motivation to act like Keegan's cooperating with us to get someone else to make a mistake, to say something on a wiretap, to move some evidence, to dig it back up, and so forth and so on. So I think that they're at the point of desperation where they would absolutely leak some fake transcripts through a third party that they never have to be responsible for to make somebody else possibly mess up.
Like, for instance, all right, what if the neighbor reported some petty crime like a little while back, right? But they never did a search warrant or anything. They just, took the police report or whatever. And then once they got tipped off about him, they're like, all right, he was in her shed. They need this tool back. Throw the search warrant in there, I feel like it's like that kind of situation. Like maybe there was a police report taken. They hadn't really done anything about it. Then when his name pops up again, they're like, all right, let's get a search warrant for it.
Yeah, this is our spot to get in right now because of that.
If you went to the local police department and you said, I have video of my neighbor stealing something out of my shed, he trespassed, he was breaking and entering, and then I think he buried it in his backyard, and it's right here on my camera, and they didn't move on that, you think you would let that slide?
No, but I mean, a lot of people would if the police never did anything about it and it was some stupid tool, then I probably would let it slide.
And they could pick the charges back up also. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they said it wasn't anything of significance. It was like a stupid tool. You know what I mean? So if it was a stupid tool, then I would just let it go.
But this person, your neighbor, broke into your property, breaking and entering, trespassed into your property, took your thing. You got it on video. You saw it with your own eyes, and that's not a big deal to you?
No, it'd be a big deal to me, but I'm saying I don't know if, or maybe they were still in the process of handling it. I don't know. That stuff takes time, or they said they were, you know what I mean? He was going to go to, he could have got arrested for this a while back. They couldn't really do nothing with it. He bailed out. They let him go. You get what I'm saying? He steals from the neighbor. The neighbor has it on video. They get him. They arrest him. They take all his information. Then he gets bailed out. He gets let go. They can't do nothing about it. But then his name comes up again later, and then they can say, okay, well, the neighbor came to us before and said that he stole this and that or whatever. Let's throw the search warrant. Now, I don't know. I guess we would have to look up and see if there's a theft charge on his record or something of that nature, and see if there is.
Because it's a mystery. It's not grand theft, so maybe they dropped the charges, the neighbor, because they're neighbors.
Yeah, or something like that. Maybe drop the charges. I don't know. Yeah, we're discussing Delphi, Jeanette.
Well, if the neighbor claimed that he stole something, if it was caught on video or just eyewitness, and they went back there and they dug up some stuff, and maybe that was his favorite hiding place. Yeah.
Well, Linda, you don't get a search warrant for garden tools, but if you have a witness saying that he's involved in a crime, that will get you a search warrant, and then they could use. I personally, that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's more so. I feel like the tool story is probably crap, because it's more than the tool story might have happened, but I feel like for them to be able to go dig in his yard and look up his stuff, that tool story is not going to be enough for a judge to be like, yeah, go dig up this guy's backyard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no. If it was caught on camera by chance of him breaking and entering and stealing something and going into his house, and then later, short term later, coming out the back door with a shovel and then burying something in his backyard, you could absolutely get a search warrant for his house and his backyard.
He went into the garage or into the actual house?
He went to his shed, supposedly.
Okay.
But I feel like we don't even know if the tool story is legit. Like, for all we know, the tool story didn't even happen. And it could just be from somebody talking or whatever, you know.
And how long ago was the tool getting stole? Excuse me.
Like a month or two ago, I guess. That's what it sounds like. Like, the two different stories are that either Kegan said something and that led them there, or this tool story where the neighbor claims that he went into their shed and took a tool and brought it to his house. I don't know if they said that. I didn't hear anything about him, like, have him on video burying it or whatever. I just heard that he went in somebody's shed and took the tool, and the neighbor reported it, that he stole the tool or whatever. But it was some insignificant tool. Like, it wasn't anything special.
That's what I'm going to ask you guys. Like, why was he stealing a tool? It doesn't look like a guy that uses tools as it is. Like, why
they made it sound like it was something like stupid, you know what I mean? And maybe he just went over there and like took the tool to use it for something, but it wasn't like, you know, like a $300 tool. It was something dumb that maybe he thought the neighbor wouldn't care about or would notice. But I guess maybe the guy got him on camera.
This is grand theft in Florida. Is, I think now it's at $500. I think it's 500 more, right? Sterling, I think.
Might be 1,000 to be a felony.
Yeah, I think they did up it to 1,000. I think you're right. That's just recent. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, I heard that it was some insignificant tool, but for it to be, hold on, let me pull
and I'm not disagreeing.
But I'm gonna look up his name and see if it shows up.
Yeah, just playing, devil's advocate. I get it. Yeah, that's how we break it down. Nice to meet you. Playing devil's advocate. You know what I mean? You got to play. You know what I mean, to get the story out. And it's nice to meet you, buddy.
Oh yeah, what's up, Austin? How you doing, bro? Yeah, no, I'm just spitballing and stuff. You know what I mean? But like,
no, it's a good point. Like,
but hear me out. Regardless of whether it was insignificant, they could get the search warrant because they have it on alleged video. And I'm just making that up. Everybody got these little cameras, Zoom cameras or whatever you call them, Let's just say it happened. Or maybe it was even an eyewitness. Maybe they saw it. Maybe they filmed it. Who knows? But they dig it up and they find some other, like, whoa, what is this? Let's say it's something like a bunch of women's panties. Okay, I'm just going crazy, right? And so then they say, hey, you know what? This guy might be involved with some other crimes. This looks like the necklace that was reportedly taken from the Delphi murders. And so, you know what? As far as this arrest about this petty little tool, let that go, because we got some bigger stuff to take care of. And so they go and they show it to the family. They do a DNA analysis. Who knows what they did? And then they come back and arrest him for the murder. And,
he had to be on their radar, though, for them to actually go and, like, search this guy's yard, I feel like.
No,
I mean,
under my theory, he wasn't on the radar. He was on video stealing something for the neighbor. They found his honey pot buried in the backyard and found other things. And that's what tipped them off out of nowhere.
Maybe they were using I'm sorry, Kate.
Go ahead, Nick.
Maybe they were using the whole stealing a tool thing to get him in there, right? Obviously, but to also not tip off a lot of the people in the ring, right? Type thing, and to continue to get information because they're obviously already involved in that, correct? Getting all the information from X, Y, and Z and Keegan's computer and all that kind of stuff. So maybe that doesn't tip off the other parties that may or may not be involved.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
I just find it really hard to separate Kegan when he was literally talking to one of the victims on the day that she goes missing. under an account, and then he researches Marathon gas station, which is in Delphi, and he lived in Peru at the time. I just feel like it's too coincidental for me to not think Kagan's involved.
And you said Miami, right?
I think it's like Miami County or something like that, not actual
There's
Miami.
a lot of Marathon gas stations around there because I'm Miami myself.
No, well, now it's Miami
Indiana.
County. I think it's Peru, Indiana, and I think that the gas station he searched was in Delphi.
Yeah, he searched Marathon gas station in Delphi where the actual murders happened on that day, and I don't necessarily think that he was in Delphi, but I feel like, you know, he has some involvement in some way, considering that he was talking to Libby that day that she was missing.
Was he though? Did he admit to that? Didn't he say that, oh, that's what they told me? I don't really remember that. He never admitted that he talked to her. Anthony Schatz allegedly was speaking to Libby, but even that we don't have proof of. And even if we did, it wouldn't necessarily tie Keegan personally to the murders.
Hold on, I'm trying to see if it's been like public information.
Those two were exchanging pics though, right?
Those two what?
Were exchanging.
Well, according, so like her.
I missed it. Sorry.
In a jailhouse interview with HLN, Kagan Klein revealed that police told him that he was the last person to communicate with Libby German while using his fake Anthony Schatz account. So the police told him that, so that is coming from somewhere. Like,
that's what I said. That's what I said.
I mean, they could lie, but why would police?
But that's literally what I said. I said that he said.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just
saying. The police told me that I was the last one to talk to her, but I don't remember that. That's what they told me.
Of course, he's gonna say he don't remember that.
Okay, but okay, sure, and that's fair.
He's gonna admit that they remember talking to the victims who were killed that day.
That's fair. But when we say that Keegan Klein spoke to Libby on the day that she was murdered, I just want to say that that's why I was just pushing back on that, because do we know that? Because he denied it right then and there on video.
I mean, we don't know that, but police are saying that, according to him. So police are saying that.
Which means
the police can lie.
Peter and all that stuff.
Yeah, they can lie, but if police are saying it,
easy.
I'm just saying there's too many things all fall into place for me to not think that he's involved. It's just too coincidental. I mean, he might not be, for all I know. He might not be, but I do feel like he is probably involved based on all the information that we've heard. I speculate that he's involved.
He might not have known anything was going to happen to those girls, but he might have known that he was going to be meeting up with them, right?
I don't, like, in my opinion, if he's involved, I don't think he actually went there. I think he lured them there. Like, said, hey, I'll meet you guys at the bridge. And then.
But hang on now. I want to point out a little bit of contradiction that I hear. Because the murder sheet released that he waited in that red Jeep at the CPS building. And
yeah, I've heard that.
Hold on. And if we believe the murder sheet and we believe those transcripts, then we have to believe that as well.
I don't have to believe that. I mean, where did they get that from? They're just speculating that was him in the car there. I mean, it could be. I mean, I like.
No.
I wouldn't.
They claim he told police that he told police he waited in the Jeep. So
who claims that he told police that?
The murder sheet claims that Keegan Klein claims that he waited in the red Jeep while the actual murderer committed.
I don't have to believe the murder sheet, but
you do though when it comes. But you do when it comes to the.
I believe that Keegan Klein told HLN that he talked to them that day, or that police said he talked to them that day.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He said to HLN, not the transcripts. Keegan Klein himself said to HLN, police said that I had spoken to them that day.
Isn't that different from saying that he said that he did?
Oh, I don't. I don't get what you're trying to say.
You
I'm
don't
trying to
understand the difference.
say
Hold on,
that
Steve. You don't.
it doesn't matter what Murder Sheet Podcast said. There's still enough information there for me to speculate that he's involved.
Sure.
Without the Murder Sheet stuff.
But hold on. I just want to be very, very, very clear. There's a difference in statement A saying the police told me I talked to her on the day that she was murdered, and statement B that says I talked to her on the day that she was murdered.
I get what you're saying, but I'm still saying if police told him that, then I'm inclined to believe that he did talk to them that day. We know that he was Anthony Schatz. I don't know if he was in the Jeep, but I know police think that he was talking to them that day. So there's enough information for me to speculate. I think he's involved. You might not feel that way, but I do.
I respect that. Thank you for the back and forth. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no.
But I think that even if you could prove that the account was spoke to Libby that day, and even if he admits on camera, which he did, that he created the account, that doesn't mean that he was the one that spoke to Libby on that day, if it actually happened. Nor does
I mean, somebody else could have been using the account as well. But if somebody else was using the account, then he would know. He would still know. You know what I mean? Like, say his dad or somebody else. I mean, he would still have to know to some extent, or like somebody close to him involved then. So if Richard Allen...
shared, Kate? That account was shared a little bit. Didn't a couple people use that Anthony Schatz account?
Well, there's speculation that a couple people might have used it, but they don't know. You know what I mean?
Allegedly, and speculating.
Yeah.
The police claim in the transcripts that they turned it over to the FBI, and the FBI analyzed it and said that they found that there was at least 2 users of the account. But what I would say is that I call BS. I think they like Tony. I think that if these transcripts are true, they lied and said they had it analyzed when they didn't, and they made it very easy for Keegan to turn on his dad, which he never did.
I didn't get the feel that Tony was involved. Like, the way that, if the transcripts are real, the way that he talked about Tony, I don't get, like, I get the feel like he didn't want his dad to ever know that stuff. And I know Tony's a shit person from the sounds of what all the stuff I've heard about him, like, that he was abusive or whatever, if that's true. But I don't know. I've never really felt like Tony was involved, other than I feel like he's just a shitty person. And I don't know. I don't know where people like make that connection, but I didn't make that connection in reading the transcripts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't make that connection.
Some people made it because, like, in the transcripts, what they say is that he talked about, would you do this with my dad? Would you have these sort of relations with my dad? He's 40-something years old, yada, yada.
I think he was talking about himself, though. Like, I think he was pretending to be a young girl named Emily or whatever. And he was saying, would you do this stuff with my dad and stuff like that, so that he himself could pretend he was Emily's dad and do whatever he wanted, what creepy shit he wanted to do. You get what I'm saying? Like the one he asked the girl to like watch him, whatever, on Zoom. And I feel like he pretended like he was Emily's dad, like Kegan pretended he was Emily's dad so that he could come on camera and do the gross things he wanted to do. So I don't believe he was asking for Tony. I believe he was pretending to be a young girl and asking for himself. That's how I read it, if that makes sense.
It would, and he was using the name Emily Ann, I think, when he was saying those things. Mm-hmm. But I guess the pushback I would have is that, I mean, Anthony Schatz isn't 40. I mean, or Keegan Kline, isn't 40 something. You know what I mean? Like, in no way could he pass for 45. Or I think he actually lied and said he was 42. You know
yeah, but a lot of those guys do, like, they darken the camera so you can't see anything, and then just put their bits on the screen, so you don't really know how old they are. I think he could pass for a 40-year-old man, personally. Like, I think he looks older. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, but why would you lie and say you're older, though?
To sound like you're old, like your dad.
Oh, okay. I never thought about that. Okay, I see what you're
like
saying.
To sound like that you're dad, and that you're so like. you know, more people would be inclined to believe a 40-year-old man is a dad than a 30-year-old
Okay.
guy to a 12-year-old girl. You know what I'm
I
saying?
got you.
Like,
I got you.
that's how I took it.
Okay, yeah.
But I can see how people make the connection about Tony. But from when they start questioning him about Tony, it almost is like he freaks out. Like, he's like, my dad would disown me. Like, I don't want my, like, it doesn't feel like him. I mean, besides, I don't know. It's hard because they talk about him going to that like whatever ranch in Vegas with his dad, but that's different.
The bunny
than
ranch.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different if you're messing with adult hookers than 12-year-old girls. And
The Bunny Ranch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buddy.
Shout out to the Bunny Ranch. Ask for Heather. Tell her Sterling sent you. And no.
I used to watch on HBO all the time when I was a kid. Oh,
there
Lord.
was a show on HBO. I didn't know that.
Yeah, called the Bunny Ranch. Guy died though, but they owned it.
I'm just kidding around. Actually, I need to use the restroom. Are you going to be streaming for a minute, or?
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah.
It's crazily linked. If they know each other and they've, you know what I mean, and they're so close to each other, it's like how are they not somewhat involved? Whether Keegan, well, I don't think Keegan was there. Just like I don't think you think he was there.
But I do think there's some connection there. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's something more than just it being two separate incidents. Just because the way, like, his negotiations are still going on, the timing of everything, it just feels more connected. And now they're saying more people may be involved. It could have just, I mean, the tool thing could have been like that break they were looking for. And then maybe after that, they were like, they went to Kagan and said, you need to give us information about this guy or something. I don't know, but I don't.
I'd be more in awe if he wasn't involved. You know what I mean? Like I'd be more surprised. That's where I'm leaning. But anything can happen. It's 2022 and it's crazy ass world right now. But
like, how creepy would that be? Let's pretend it's not connected. How fucking creepy would that be that two separate predators were messaging, like, lurking on those kids that particular day? You got Kagan messaging him pretending he's another. I mean, that's scary. If it's not connected, that's fucking scary. Like, that one girl could be.
She was getting stalked by multiple people.
Yeah,
by multiple people. So, if that's the case,
I guess that's just hard for me to fathom. Like, that part of it is like,
oh, ditto.
Is there really all these creeps, or is it somehow connected? I don't know. It's bizarre to me. I just, and now that they're like more people are involved, I think maybe more people, not technically in the murder, but more people
in the ring.
I think
that's what they're getting out of Keegan Kate right now. I think Keegan's probably singing like a bird in there, giving up all sorts of stuff to protect himself, or if he is involved somehow.
And if it was just this tool thing, right? Mm-hmm. Why are they so heavily trying to protect a witness then? If it was just a neighbor and some tools, why is it so important to keep this record sealed and protect this witness? Which you would think would be the tool guy, right?
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
They're sealing the case because of a witness. They're protecting a witness. What witness are they protecting then? The tool guy?
Yeah, I mean, he lives right next to him, so everybody's going to know who he is anyway, right?
Yeah, so. I mean, everyone was going to know, like, what difference, like, I feel like they're going to be more inclined to protect Kagan, who's in jail, or he's not in jail yet, right? Is he in jail?
I'm not sure. That I do not know.
I don't know if he's in jail or if he's bailed out or whatever, but if he's in jail, then they're probably more inclined to protect him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, well, not to mention, that kind of stuff doesn't go over lightly with a lot of people in jail. You know what I mean? You're going to be in, solitary confinement your entire life. That's just how it is. If you do that to children and whatnot, they don't play around in jail with that kind of stuff. So that might be part of the thing. But I really think that he's got a bunch of information on that computer of his. And they're just getting every bit of it out of there. And maybe they're trying to get everybody in that ring that they can to maybe even try to prevent, obviously, something like this happening again. And or
obviously you want to catch all these motherfuckers that are involved, because that's some sick fucking shit. You know what I mean? And if it takes, finding all kind, like,
it's like killing 5 birds with 1 stone type thing. You know what I mean? Like, by doing that.
But that's the only thing I can't understand is, like, why would they so heavily be trying to protect this tool guy if that's the case? I'm trying to see if I can find, like, a video, like a little video about today.
What did I miss? What are we talking about?
So here's what I was saying too. If all right, if it is the tool guy, say it's the tool thing, why are they so heavily trying to protect tool guy if that's who, like, that's how they got Richard? Because apparently they're saying they don't want to unseal this stuff because they're trying to protect a witness.
But it's his neighbor, so everybody knows, right?
Yeah, like, I just find it hard to believe they're trying really hard to keep things sealed to protect the guy who he stole tools from. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes me suspicious of Kagan as well, I guess. I can't figure that one out.
Yeah, and I'm spitballing here and just, I mean, I haven't fully thought it out myself. This is all.
That's a good point, though, right? Like, why, if they want to keep this sealed so much, why are they so heavily trying to protect Tool Guy?
Let's break that down. Maybe they're keeping it sealed, not necessarily to protect the Tool Guy, but maybe if the neighbor, who is an innocent party of all this, a victim, if you will, his name doesn't need to get out there. And if there is other evidence, allegedly, that ties Anthony Schatz to speaking to other minors, then I could see how you would want to keep that under wraps. And if you're trying to tie Keegan to Richard Allen, I could see how that might be in the probable cause affidavit. So I wouldn't argue that they're trying to keep the neighbor a secret, but the neighbor is irrelevant. So they might want to try to protect their identity just for those.
Or if Kagan's, I don't know if Kagan's in jail or not still, but if he's in jail, then they would definitely be really trying to protect his, him as a witness, because if people find that out and it's
much more dangerous to be like a child abuser than it is a snitch in prison. And they got him under close watch. So I don't think they're trying to protect Keegan. I think they're trying to protect minors. I think that's what they said, or people who were at least minors at the time. But that doesn't mean that those are the neighbors, which maybe they are. Maybe a neighbor was a minor. Maybe one of their kids saw it. Who knows? But I don't think the purpose is to protect the neighbor at all. I think the purpose is to protect minors. But yeah, it's all fascinating.
I'm gonna play a video real quick. I just want to see what they.
For me, in prison, the number one thing is people that abuse children, X, Y, and Z from every way. Then it's snitches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do think it's strange that they want to keep it redacted too. All right, I'm gonna play this real quick.
Did he have an accomplice? As the suspect in the Down the Hill murder case makes his first court appearance, a prosecutor makes a stunning revelation. We believe Richard Allen is not the only actor involved in this. The news came at a bail hearing today, as prosecutors said information about the case should remain sealed because the investigation is ongoing.
Today was sort of the most perhaps strident statement from law enforcement or the prosecution about the possibility that more than one person is involved.
Allen, who worked at the local CVS drugstore, is accused of murdering best friends Abby Williams and Libby German on this country trail outside Delphi, Indiana. His lawyer says people shouldn't rush to judgment.
Our client, very emotional, looked us in the eye. He said, "I am not guilty."
In a handwritten letter to the judge, Allen says his wife has been forced to immediately abandon employment for her personal safety. She has had to abandon our house for her own safety.
Oof.
That's sad. I feel bad for his family. I mean, I don't feel like they would have arrested the guy without having found something huge. Like,
Was he able to keep that away from his wife for so long? Do you think she might know anything? Or do you think she's just, you know what I mean?
That same lawyer said that the wife is firmly sticking by the husband. Now, of course, an attorney will advise their client and their client's spouses to stay with them because it's very damaging to leave your spouse when you've been charged with a crime. It makes you look very guilty. But allegedly, the wife is sticking by the husband, at least for now.
they have been married for like 30 years or something crazy like that. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. And I'm like, here's my thing. Maybe, like, I feel like if you're married to someone, you don't want to see any like weird stuff about them or like look at them in that light. So maybe there was red flags and she just didn't even see them, because who's going to ever, I don't know. I mean,
30 years is a long time, right? Not to see something, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
And
30 years is a really long time. I mean,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, what was interesting was that there's reports that the local bar that he would frequent 3 or 4 times a week, they would go there, he and his wife together, and they would often bring up the murders. But, then again, I bring it up all the time. Like, I've been talking to strangers who don't know anything about this all the time. And when my hair was shorter, I kind of looked a little too close to the second sketch. I was like, maybe I shouldn't be bringing this up all the time. People are going to be thinking about me. But so it doesn't necessarily prove any guilt or association with the crime. It's even more normal for someone who's local to the area to probably bring it up,
Yeah, I was going to say, especially if you live in the town, I mean, it's probably pretty common to like talk about it. So that doesn't shock me. But I just feel like they wouldn't arrest that guy. I mean, they've been working on this for so long that I feel like they wouldn't have dared made that arrest if they didn't have something hella damning. You know what I mean?
That's how I felt too.
Like they would look really freaking bad if they didn't have something that was like.
Yeah, they'll get sued out the rear end. You know what I mean? If it, and they will get sued out the rear end if he has absolutely nothing, to do with it. In my opinion, at least.
So I've heard a couple things. Well, I've heard that one there. So if you read the search warrant to Ron Logan's house, they do say that there was like animal hair at the scene, like a animal hair they don't know, like cat or dog hair or whatever. That a sock and I believe a jacket. That's what it looked like. Jacket, definitely sock. I'm inclined to believe the other word was jacket because that was like the one word that fit correctly for me. It was blanked out, but you can see like a couple letters that came above the blank out, which would only qualify as like 3 or 4 letters. So you can kind of make out what it was. And it looked like jacket to me. So they took a jacket and a sock, I believe. Other people said underwear, but underwear wouldn't fit. Like it wouldn't. And jacket. Hold on, let me think. Jacket, sock, and then there was hair at the. You know what? Let me just pull up the search warrant.
Yeah, because I don't remember them saying anything about animal hair being found, and I thought I remember them referring to personal items or maybe even garments was the word, but I don't remember them using specific terms. But maybe they were redacted, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull up the search warrant. Here it is.
This case has been going on for how long? What, 4 years? Is it 4?
think it's like 5.5 years ago this happened.
Yeah.
2017, February 13th and 14th, 2017.
This guy's been running free for that long.
Crazy, right?
Unbelievable.
Or these people.
Yeah, plural.
All right, so on February 13th, 2017, at approximately 1 p.m., juvenile victims, hereafter referred to as Liberty German and Abigail Williams, were taken to the Monon High Bridge Trail located in Delphi, Indiana. They were walking the trail in the area of County Road 300 North and 575 West near latitude longitude at approximately 2:13 p.m., which is the time of last contact with Liberty German and Abigail Williams by cellular device. The victims were to be picked up by a family member at 3, and the victims never met that family member. Approximately 5:30 p.m. was the last successful ping of the cellular phone by AT&T. They were located deceased on February 14th at approximately 12:17 p.m. at the above listed latitude and longitude. A suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket and a heavy physical build wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of the suspect was made by a 43-second video taken on Liberty German's phone, where the suspect follows the victims as they're walking on the bridge. At the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victims, saying, "Down the hill." It sounds as though he is directing the victims to leave the trail they were on and enter the wooded area below. No person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in Liberty's video. Therefore, it is believed that the person in Liberty's video participated in the killings. Images of the suspect have been broadcast on the news media since February 15, 2017, as a person of interest. Here's where, on February 14th at approximately 12:17 p.m., victims Liberty German and Abigail Williams were found dead with wounds caused by, I believe this is a serrated knife based on
How long it is?
how long it is and how it's spelled, and that's an S right there. So it's something with an S, but serrated knife fits.
Good catch. I didn't even see that S.
On the property owned by Ron Logan. A large amount of blood was lost by victims at the crime scene because of the nature of the victim's wounds. It is clearly certain the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his person or clothing. The location of the crime scene is approximately 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. He is a 77-year-old male. His physical build is consistent with that of the male suspect videoed by Liberty German on the Monon High Bridge Trail. He owns farmland and cares for large farm animals. He appears to be in good physical condition. He has been interviewed several times. His voice is not inconsistent with that of the person in the video. Here we go. It was also discovered that that looks to me like jacket, because you can see right here, it comes up and it's either an H, sorry, not, or a K. So jacket would fit. The T wouldn't go above the black line. Only a K, a D, not a B because that's angled, and not. It would either be a K or an H, or maybe an F. But I don't think F, because F is more rounded. So we're going to go with K or H. So I'm going to go with jacket, and that being a K. Jacket and sock. You can see that's a K at the end, and sock just fits perfect. So.
Oh, yeah. I see the K at the end.
So it was discovered that the jacket and sock of one of the victims was missing from the crime scene, while the rest of their clothing was recovered.
Wasn't one of Abby's, well, her shoe was off, but it was found, right?
Yeah, her sock was missing.
Okay.
So that's when they were looking for them. They had seen a shoe and then like zoomed out a little bit, and that's how they found them. All right, so it also appears the girls' bodies were moved and staged. Based upon my training and experience, it is common for perpetrators of this type of crime to take a souvenir or in some fashion memorialize the crime scene, whether by photos or electronic or digital methods that are downloaded onto computers, storage devices, tablets, phones, iPad devices, or other electronic devices that store digital data for later viewing, scanning, or copying. They had no visible signs of a struggle or fight. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or hairs. So that's what I was talking about. It doesn't say animal hair, but there is speculation that it's animal hair, and some people were saying that they may have found the animal that hair matched to.
And
That
he
was
has
like,
animals on that farm, right? You said cows or something like that, or
yeah, but people were saying that like they could have dug up Richard Allen's dead cat or something like that and matched the hair from the cat to the hair on the bodies. Like that was one of the speculations of what maybe they had dug up in the yard. And then the rest just goes on about Ron Logan and his numerous weapons and how he lied about his cousin driving him to the place, but he could have lied because he had a suspended license or whatever. So that really like
suspended license, big deal. It's a quick ticket. You know what I mean? Like,
but like people are saying that. So he said that his cousin took him to like an aquarium store. He does have the receipt for the aquarium, so I think that's a lot of people why they think he's not connected, because he does have like a receipt to the store. But he lied about his cousin driving him there because he supposedly has a suspended license or whatever.
And you would try to make some sort of alibi up, right? You know what I mean? And maybe go to the aquarium. That was part of an alibi that he might have tried to concoct just in case. I mean,
first if I'm not mistaken, at one point he said that he drove himself to the trash dump, and he implicated himself as driving. But when in actuality, he said another story he told was about the aquarium, which I'm not sure. Maybe he did have a receipt. I can't remember. But then
I believe they do say he has a receipt.
Right, but it doesn't necessarily clear him from the time, yada yada. But also he went to a pizza restaurant where he ate some pizza and drank some beer. So there are people who allegedly would have seen him, and I could see why he admitted to driving and not being at home. Said he went to the dump out of necessity, where he didn't want to admit, and one of the stipulations of his parole or probation, I can't remember, was that he wasn't supposed to be drinking alcohol, when he was definitely there and he drank a couple of beers, allegedly.
Yeah. It might even mention it on here. Let me see. He said he was picked up around 3:00. Hold on. All right, yeah. A receipt from the Aquarium World in Lafayette, dated February 13th, with a checkout time of 5:21. He claims he was picked up around 3 p.m. and taken straight to the aquarium store. How does anyone know what the aquarium store is called? Did it say it?
It might even be called the aquarium store.
Hold on. Aquarium World. Let's look this up. Because if he says he was taken straight there at 3:00.
So he spent two hours and change in an aquarium store?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe. I guess it's
you know me, I have fish. I spend 15 to 30 minutes max in there. And at the moment, I'm picking up my fish and all that stuff.
Yeah, like I have a lot of pets too, and I don't.
That's a long time to spend in an aquarium store.
I mean, unless he got picked up and they stopped other places. I don't know if. Oh no, he said they go straight there.
And didn't the receipt you said 521 or was that something else? Yeah.
So it's in Lafayette. It's at 116 South Earl Ave. I'm just curious.
Lafayette, Indiana.
And I think the time of the murders was between around 3, allegedly.
their last known contact was 2:13 p.m. So yeah, probably around like between 2:30 and 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Is that from Kate? The video from Libby? Is that why she had the video?
The
was
Snapchat was uploaded
Yeah.
at that time, right?
Yeah, when the like down the hill thing
Yeah.
happened at
Or maybe it was Abby's photo that they took on the bridge. I think that was the one that was uploaded to Snapchat. The video of bridge guy wasn't uploaded. It was just like recorded on her phone, right?
yeah. So it's like probably between like 2:45 and 3 o'clock. I don't know how long it would take to do that really, but hold on. How do I look up?
Cheryl saying he went to the hospital the next day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who said what?
In the chat, Cheryl Ferris said it was odd he went to a hospital the next day.
Oh, Richard Allen, you mean?
Yeah.
People are saying Richard Allen checked himself in to like a mental hospital shortly after.
I don't remember. Maybe that's true, but I do remember that the police had contact with him. I don't know if it was the day after to keep the peace when he was really drunk and his wife took him to the hospital, but I don't remember the date on that.
300 North. Let's just do. I need like a.
Be right back.
What was Ron Logan's? It was like 300 North. 300 County Road 300 North.
That's a long drive from point A to point B there.
It's like 36 minutes. So they left at 3. He would have got there at like 3:30 and then checked out at 5:21, unless they went ate somewhere first. I don't know. But yeah.
Did he go to the bar later that night and eat and drink beer though?
What?
Does that when he went to the bar though later that night as well?
I think that's what he was saying. It's like at the same time, but I don't know if he went before or after or how it went. But he does have a receipt at 5:21. But I mean, he would still be able to, I guess, have time to commit the murders. But I don't know. I might move on to Idaho though, because I really want to talk about this Idaho case. So I think I'm going to move on. Hopefully Sterling is following it too.
This is a crazy case.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to pull up Moscow. But yeah, it is crazy. And I'm going down all kinds of rabbit holes.
Right.
So here's a theory that I think may be a pretty viable theory. Apparently, Kaylee she was buying. All right, so Sterling, we're going to move on to the Idaho murders. I don't know if you've been following, but I'll give a little summary in case you haven't, because
I didn't hear anything. Sorry.
Have you been following the Idaho story at all?
Not really. That's where the 4 people got killed?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. So these 4 college students were like brutally, killed with a knife, a K-bar knife. And they don't have a suspect yet. They said it was personal. They believe, I guess, there was a particular target. I'm going to go over all like the statements, but there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of rumors, so that the police have tried to like clear some stuff up. So there's 4 people, Xana and Ethan, they were a couple, and then 2 best friends, Kaylee and Maddie. Maddie and Xana work together at this place called the Mad Greek. I think there may be a connection there or something that has to do with that. Or maybe like Kaylee was at Maddie's work and somebody, seen her there and started following her or something, or a neighbor. But it seems they may have been familiar with the house, or like somewhat familiar. They probably came in through the sliding glass door. It's a 3-story home. There was 2 surviving roommates, but the 2 surviving roommates had bedrooms in the basement. So then I do kind of like switch back and forth, where I'm not sure if they did know the house or not, because somebody who didn't know the house very well would probably not realize that there's bedrooms in the basement, because it's not really a common thing. So maybe that's why they were spared. But I can understand why. They apparently didn't wake up till the next day and didn't even know anything happened, which wouldn't shock me because it was a really big party house, and their rooms were in the basement. And in big party houses like that, they probably hear noise all the time. And all of the victims were alleged to be sleeping in their beds at the time, so there probably really was. I mean, if there was noise, it probably didn't last very long, and it wasn't very super loud, because they probably woke up confused and were killed right away. So let's start here. I think this is the latest one. There's a timeline. Okay. 1 second. So here's a timeline. Kaylee and Maddie at, I guess that's 2200.
Oh, it was a food truck, right?
Yeah. So Kaylee and Maddie were at the corner club from like, I guess it's like 11. It's 22:11 in military time.
10.
Or 10, yeah. 10. From 10 to 1:30 in the morning, Kaylee and Maddie were at a bar called the Corner Club. And then they go to a food truck called the Grub Truck around 1:40. And then they get a ride home from a private ride and get home around 1:45. They are seen kind of like talking and standing with a guy at the food truck. Police said they don't believe he is involved, and they don't believe that the private ride person is involved either. Then Ethan and Xana, they were attending a party for Ethan's fraternity. They return back at 1:45 as well, and they're at their home at 1122 King Road. So they're all pretty much home around 1:45. And then there are several calls made from Kaylee and Maddie's phone to Jack D, which is Kaylee's ex-boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And there was a text also sent where she's saying, like, please come over. We share a dog together. Please come over. Like, I guess they had recently broke up and were trying to get back together. And she was, late night calling him, begging him to come over. And she probably thought he was ignoring her. So she probably used her friend's phone to call, I'm assuming, and then finally gave up. StreamYard is where you can click the link and come on panel, Cheryl. Like, that's how people come up here and talk. I just shared the link in case people want to come up.
So, Kate, when I was just going, I might have to go run my Uber Eats real quick, but I heard you say that the roommates were actually in the basement. They weren't on the third story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, originally, a lot of people thought that they were on the third floor. They weren't. The police confirmed that there was. So, Kaylee and Maddie were found on the third floor. and Ethan and Xana were found on the second floor. And then the roommates were in the basement.
It screams 2 people to me. It just really does, or multiple people. I mean, the dude that died. He was a big, he was a big guy. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, you would have to go after the male first, right?
But these people were found in their beds, you said?
That I know this much. I think you're on mute, Kate. Are you on mute, Kate? Oh,
Sorry, I was. Thank you. They were all found in their beds. Yeah. So I think it's possible that maybe he was sleeping and he was killed before he could even do anything. Mm-hmm. I thought it was weird too. Like, how does one person, take out 4 whole people? But if he came in when immediately, I'll show the layout of the house too. I'll go over that real quick. So,
and the outside of that house, the blood, that is crazy.
Yeah, that was from Ethan and Xana's room.
Wow.
Hey, Rye.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. Glad to be off work.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, the reason I came up, Sigma Chi International chapter said they're going to start a scholarship fund in Ethan's name.
Oh, that's nice. That's good they're doing that. That's nice of them.
I haven't heard anything about the sororities if they're going to do anything because the girls were. Because I know the girls were all in different sororities. I thought they were all in the same.
No, they were in I think 2 or 3 different ones between all 4 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So here's the side of the house. So if this helps explain
trigger
it.
Warning.
Oh, this isn't that picture.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You know what I'm talking about.
So this is the first floor. This is when you first walk in, there is a bedroom, and then it's like a hallway going all the way down when you walk in the door. And that's like a bedroom, a furnace room, a bathroom, and then another bedroom. So like 1 bedroom on one side, a furnace room, a bathroom, and then another bedroom. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a furnace room. And then right above this side, on this particular side, is Ethan and Xana's room. And then next to this room is a living room. And then this is the kitchen right here. Now, the kitchen is on ground level as well because it's on a hill. So the first floor is at a driveway at ground level, and then the kitchen's at ground level. There's a sliding door with like a back patio behind the kitchen. And that's the kitchen. And then above the kitchen is Kaylee's room, and then there's a bathroom as well up there, and then Maddie's room. In construction. Go ahead. Go ahead, Pecan. Yeah, they could have hid in the house too for a while, for sure. Like the perp. All right, and then hold on. I have a bunch of pictures. I just need to go through my chats, and I'm trying to.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me is that he was hiding there the whole time and then wait for him to fall asleep. And I know that they had a code to the front door, right? And it was a party house, so a lot of people knew that code, right?
They were also dusting the window for fingerprints right next to the sliding door. So I'll show you guys the layout. Melissa Jade did a really good layout of the inside of the house, so you can see. I'll pull that up.
Kate, have you showed the picture of the dog?
No, not yet. I do have the picture somewhere.
Okay, if you didn't have it, I would go find it for you.
I have it somewhere.
Is that the collie that was?
They had like a labradoodle or something. Jack, D, and Kaylee had a labradoodle together, and the lab was staying at her house that night. So this is the first floor. So here's a door with the keypad, and here's a driveway. Then you come in. Now there's a bedroom to your left, and then there's a bathroom, a furnace room, and then a bedroom at the end. And then these stairs, hold on, let me pull up Zillow too so we can sorry if everyone's seen this already, but I just want to make sure the people in panel have seen all this too. Yeah, somebody said it was heating oil that spilled out of the pipe. It could be. All right, so I'm trying to find. I gotta. All right, so this is a basement bedroom. This is the one with the stairs over top. So it's this bedroom right here, all the way in the end. And then I believe that's like either the bathroom or the furnace room. That's probably the furnace room, and that's the bathroom, I would imagine. This is either the other bedroom. This is the other, but yeah, this is the other bedroom in the basement. It has a breaker in this one. All right, this is the kitchen. So this is on the second floor. So here's the glass sliding door, and then the kitchen. And then if you walk out of the kitchen and go left, you go through the living room, and then Xana and Ethan's bedroom is attached to the living room. And there's the stairs that came up. And then if you go right, there's a vacant bedroom, and then that's the steps that goes up to the third floor. So here's the kitchen. Here's the steps that come up from the basement. Here's the living room.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I believe this is the vacant bedroom. These stairs. I think that's the vacant bedroom from how it looks. Yeah, and then Xana and Ethan's bedroom are over here, and this is the kitchen, I believe, right in here. So, and then the steps to go upstairs are in this hallway. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is the kitchen. Xana and Ethan's bedroom is that way. And then the stairs to go upstairs are here. And then the vacant bedroom is right there. Here's the kitchen again, the glass sliding door. And here's the window. They were dusting that window for fingerprints. So it's possible he could have came in.
He left the door open too. Whoever it was left the door open on the way out, right?
So it is possible, Pecan. So we work in construction. If there was blood dripping from the floor, the blood would have to seep through the floor, and then it would basically seep through the floor and then out. All right, so above where the concrete foundation would be like drywall, framing, and they usually have like a waterproofing like thing they hang up behind the drywall between the framing. But if it's seeping through the floor, it could soak through the floor and out into the concrete foundation. But it would have to be right where the floor meets the foundation. So it is possible, because I asked Dave that, my husband, when we work in construction. He said it's definitely possible that the blood could soak through from one floor down to the next and come out of the siding.
Especially with all the blood that was
Yeah, he said if there was a lot, it could definitely soak through the floor and out the siding. Okay, thanks, Rye.
So yeah, I'm just getting into this case. But what's interesting to me is if they were all killed in their separate bed. I'm sorry.
Well, Ethan and Xana were in the same bed, and Kaylee and Maddie may have been in the same bed, but not sure, because they were best friends. Both of their boyfriends weren't there. She just had asked Maddie to call Jack for her. So they could have been, the girls could have been in the same room or not, we don't know.
Right. So thank you. So whether they were or they weren't, they went into like 2 or 3 separate bedrooms, the killer or killers. And I just feel like it wasn't necessary. It wasn't like they were all in the same room and you had to get rid of a witness, for example. Like they intentionally went bedroom to bedroom, not down into the garage. But you know what I mean? So it's very strange. It's not like you could argue someone was there to steal something.
There was
nothing. They got surprised.
Nothing taken.
They didn't steal any. They didn't take anything. They said that it seemed personal and targeted based on the evidence that the police. They said based on the other evidence that they had, they believe it's personal and targeted. Now, I don't know if the person was familiar with the house or not. I'm inclined to believe that maybe they weren't that familiar because, say, if somebody like, well, I don't know, because if it was targeted, for instance, Maddie and Kaylee work together, right? Or not Kaylee, Maddie and Xana work together. So if it was somebody from their work per se, that would make sense while he went into Xana's room and then went up there to Maddie and Kaylee or whatever. But if it wasn't targeted, but they said it from what the evidence they do have, they believe it's targeted. But if it wasn't targeted and they just picked some house, or maybe it was targeted and they had never been in the house and they were just, scoping it out from the outside, a person who had never been in the house would be inclined to believe that there's no bedrooms in the basement, because really how common is it for people to have bedrooms in the basement? Not that common, right? So maybe they just assumed that there was no bedrooms in the basement, and that's why the basement people were spared, or it was targeted, and that's specifically why they went to Xana and Kayla's room. So I feel like it could go either way, really.
And maybe the door was locked, right? Maybe if he did, he tried it, it was locked, came back upstairs.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I don't think he would go down to the basement to check. But if it's a crime of passion, like they're saying, and that person knew there's people in the basement, right? Did he spare them because they weren't involved? Because it's a crime of passion.
It could have been targeted, so it could really go either way. You're right.
And I saw where you showed behind the wall where the stairs went down to the basement, but I didn't see I didn't see down in there, and there could possibly be a door right there with the lock on it, right? Maybe they couldn't gain entry to the basement.
I don't think there is, because I saw it's not on here, but I did see a picture of that. Someone sent it to me. I can see if I can find it, but it doesn't look like there's a door at the bottom of the steps. Yeah, I had to take the hoops out because they're starting to itch my ears.
My biggest gripe was, how did the roommates not hear this? Now, I know we've all partied before and been, drunk and passed out and stuff like that.
Oh, it makes perfect sense to me. If you ever been to a college house, like a party house at college, it would make perfect fucking sense. I mean, one, the house is weird. Like, the setup of it, it's weird. The third floor is not even on the same side as, one side, like a one bedroom it is, but it's just set up strange where it almost could be separated. And if you know about party houses in college, and your roommates have people over all the time and people are drinking, it's loud, people scream. I mean, when I would go to Penn State and visit my son's uncle, people, they would throw parties, and people they didn't even know would just walk in, and they would just walk in any bedroom, flip on the light, hey, how you doing? You literally had to lock your door to stop people from coming in because people are drunk. And not only that, but they could have been drinking. If you see the pictures of the house, there's Truly and Bud Light everywhere. So they could be drunk. You know what I mean? I think it's perfectly reasonable. They were also sleeping in their beds, likely sleeping in their beds where they were killed. So I'm sure the killer went in and did it fast because he wouldn't want all that sound. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think it's possible. I don't think the roommates are involved. The police said they don't think the roommates are involved.
And they were saying it was a big old, almost like a Rambo serrated knife, right?
A K-bar knife, which is crazy too, because a lot of times when people kill people this way, their hand slips on the knife and they get cut. But with a K-bar style knife, they're particularly made for combat, so that doesn't happen.
Protects your hand, yeah.
And it's a big knife, and some of them are half serrated, and I believe this particular one was a smooth and then serrated towards the handle. And defensive wounds, I believe Xana had defensive wounds, so I'm inclined to believe maybe he went in and hit Ethan real quick, which woke Xana up. And then they said multiple people, so I'm guessing either Kaylee or Maddie, one of them probably had defensive wounds.
And that's why I really think it's somebody that they might know or whatnot, because they went after, in my opinion, the male first because he wakes up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's able to, he's a big dude, whatnot. And he might be able to, fend him off type thing or whatnot. So maybe try to get rid of him first and then onto the girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cops have said the roommates, they don't think the roommates are involved.
I think I heard once that usually when it's like a bladed weapon or an edged weapon, it's usually a male, and it's usually personal. And I bet it was somebody they know, because they didn't have. It doesn't sound like they had to eliminate these people out of necessity if they went room to room looking for them. It does sound personal. I bet it's somebody, a male who was rejected in some way.
Yeah. And you gotta look. In no way I'm victim blaming here. I'm just gonna say that now. But you have to take into account, like in college, girls do this all the time, where they go out and they're at a bar and some guy's buying them drinks, so they flirt with them, they get a bunch of free drinks, and then they bounce. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. I used to work at a bar. I see it all the time. I'm not blaming them in any way. I'm just saying that's something common, and so, like, you do that to the wrong weirdo. You know what I mean?
It could trigger somebody to be, it's happened to me before. Hey, borrowed $100. Where'd she go? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
you put out a lot of money thinking that this girl likes you, and you buy them a bunch of drinks all night, and then they reject you. They just disappear. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. This is Maddie's bedroom right here. This is Kaylee's bedroom here. And that's the third floor. So someone was definitely killed in this room, because you can see the investigators looking in this particular room through the window. And I don't know if they were looking on a bed or a floor, but they were definitely taking pictures all over this room.
do you think they started and then worked their way down, or opposite?
No, I think they went in, hit Xana and Ethan's room first, and then I think they went straight up there and went there. I think they may. Yeah, it could even be a jealous girl. I mean, what was that one girl who killed her friend, Skylar Niece or whatever? That girl could have done it too, but I would be more inclined to think it's a guy, like with a K-bar knife. I'm going to be more inclined to think of a dude.
Yeah, and I bet it's not some random person. I don't think it'd probably be some guy rejected from the bar. I think it was somebody closer, somebody they knew from work, or a neighbor, or somebody we went to school with, an ex, or something like that. Somebody that knew them a little better than just for a few, buy them a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
There was also a dog killed on that street, right? Stabbed?
It was skinned. A dog was skinned. I
12-year-old
heard that it's not connected, but I don't know if it's been completely debunked by police or not. So this is another view of Maddie's room upstairs on the third floor. This is the steps that come up to the third floor. And I believe that's Maddie's room right there in the bathroom. This is the bathroom in the basement. This is, I believe, the vacant bedroom. And this is Ethan and Xana's room. And this is where the blood was dripping, right here in this particular spot. There's a picture of the house, and it looks like blood is dripping from under the siding down to the concrete foundation. It's possible, but people are saying maybe it's heating oil from
The
pipes.
way that blood was dripping, you know what I mean? I don't know, or fluid was dripping. It just, to me,
it looked like blood to me.
Yeah. And there's seams there. You can tell right at the bottom of the fascia. There's definitely a seam on. It's wood floors. You know what I mean? So that can get underneath the wood floors. Yeah,
it would. Like, I asked Dave, and he said it definitely could happen. This is a bedroom, a basement bedroom. One of them, like from another angle. I think we already saw it, but just from a different angle. This is the other basement bedroom. You can see that's the driveway and where the steps go up. Same room from a different angle. Same room from a different angle. This is the other one from a different angle. This is Kaylee's deck. This is the concrete outside of the kitchen. And we're back to the kitchen. Okay. So, this is what I think. I think that All right, here's another thing that seems a little strange to me, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm victim blaming, but I feel like this could be an angle. Early on, a bunch of friends of theirs said that Maddie, Kaylee, and I think it was Bethany often had a lot of money and were throwing a lot of money out, and they were speculating that maybe there was a connection there because they had a lot of money.
But no, nothing was taken, right?
Kaylee is very, very pretty. She had just bought a Range Rover, and I believe she got offered an internship in Texas, and she had got an apartment in Texas, and she's about to move there in December because she's about to graduate. People were speculating that she may have had an OnlyFans, or that a couple of them may have had an OnlyFans, and her family, I believe, did say something along the lines where they didn't know like how she was affording what she was affording, whatever. But that would be an angle too. If she had an OnlyFans and somebody became, obsessed with her. I couldn't find one publicly. I looked like under her own name, but a lot of people make ones under a completely different name, so people don't know it's them.
Or could have been taken down at all. Could have been just
maybe. But I looked, and I couldn't find anything under her particular name. But a lot of women don't want their own name associated with it, so they will make like a fake name and a fake email, like an email address, so you don't know. You know what I mean? So it could be something like that.
And I guess it wouldn't necessarily explain why they had to, also do away with the roommates, though, unless they didn't know what room she was in and were, I guess. But it almost implies to me that they knew all of them, all of the victims, like someone who was. It reeks to me as like, if I had to speculate, somebody, that weirdo next door who was never invited to the party, that felt rejected by all of them. I don't know.
A weird neighbor or something. I thought maybe there's a connection with Maddie and Xana's work. Like maybe, because it looks like, I think even one of the pictures, it looks like Kaylee was there visiting, and probably, Maddie was her best friend since they were kids, so who knows, she could have been over there every so often, visiting. Oh, here's the picture of the blood. Or what's believed, what people...
That to me looks like blood, not the other thing around. What do you think, Sterling?
I've never seen this before.
This is what was leaking out of the side of the house.
And that was right where Ethan and Xana's room were, so people are saying it's blood.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Could be. I've never seen that before. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Are these legit photos? We know these are legit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is, that was posted by Fox News.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And also, to piggyback what you said, Sterling, what we all think it is, they know them. They knew that the other two were in the basement, right? If they knew the other two were in the basement, maybe they think they weren't going to hear anything type thing and didn't, even bother with them, or it wasn't about them. You know what I mean?
I've been to some basement parties, and they had the music up, and they say, oh, you really couldn't hear anything down there, and not only that, I guess it's possible to sleep through it, and it's also possible. Yeah, I guess they did. They slept through it, right? And so do we know what time these people were like? Was there any like?
They got home at what?
Time frame?
1:53. They got home, and they said
between like 3 and 4 a.m. around then.
Yeah, and they got home at 1:53. So what? 2 hours or less, or whatever. Yep.
Oh, I don't know if they could have originally came from Daily Mail. I found them on Fox News website. The like on their article, the blood pictures, but they could have came from Daily Mail originally.
Well, I guess if that proves anything, like if it was like around 3 or 4 a.m., and they got home at like 1:45 or whatever,
Mhm.
I guess that would kind of eliminate the intruder theory. Like there was someone in the house. Well, like there was someone who got
Yeah,
caught
because
in the house.
they were home for a while before it happened because Kaylee was texting her ex-boyfriend, begging him to come over and calling him. So they definitely were home for a little bit, unless this guy just like laid in wait for a really long time in a closet or something, or But I think he went in through. I think he went in through the glass door or the window, and then definitely left through the glass door because it was left open. So there's rumors that Kaylee had a stalker, and they were at a bar. The group had gone Saturday night. I also heard one of the girls had a jealous ex-boyfriend. Gosh, Josh, no, Josh. Sorry, too adult tonight for you. Yeah, a couple people said that this is wrong because Madison had a boyfriend at the time. She wasn't being stalked by an ex, but they're saying that they were possibly being stalked. Hold on.
So another thing, they get home at 1:53. They're on the phone texting back and forth with the ex, the two girls, right? That may have went on for what, which just, guess here, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. So within an hour after that, everything goes down. So did they just fall asleep after that? And then, maybe he was in the house just waiting for that to happen, just waiting for him to fall asleep, right?
Or maybe he was like outside listening for noise, you know what I mean? Because
and the lights go off.
Or waiting for the lights go off, yeah. Or something like that. Let me see.
But and like I guess no neighbors, nobody saw anything suspicious or anything. Like no vehicles were coming.
The dog didn't even bark. I forgot about the dog. The dog didn't start.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think so. The dog was fine, and the dog was. So here's the weird part. Her ex-boyfriend and her share this dog, and the dog was with them that night. I don't know if it was barking or not, but the police don't believe the ex-boyfriend's involved, and he doesn't believe they don't believe the roommates are involved, or the person who drove them home, or the person at the food truck. So I don't even. I think
the food truck was mad sketchy though. We went over that video a couple nights ago, 3-4 nights ago. Kate,
it was sketchy for sure. But they've talked to that guy and they don't believe he's involved. The guy that they were talking to.
Okay.
So I think that it was somebody maybe from their work or had met them through their work somehow. Knew their routine, followed them home maybe a few times just to get an idea. Maybe even went to one of their parties because, people just show up at the parties. Knew who Xana and knew that Xana and Ethan were going to be there and that Ethan could have been trouble. So they went there first and then went to his intended target.
I have a question, Kate. Do you think that because Ethan and his girlfriend, I always get the girls' names mixed up, and I apologize. Do you think that he might have already taken care of them before he went for the other two girls? Were they hanging out like together? Because they were at two separate parties, right? One was at a party, one was at a party.
Yeah, but they got home around the same time.
They did.
So I don't think he did them first or anything like that. I think it was somebody. My theory is I think it was somebody from their work, met them there, got a little obsessed with one of them, followed them home one night. I mean, listen, if it's somebody you met near their work, it could be like a regular who comes in for food and he kind of knows about their life a little bit, digs into them, follows them home a few times, gets kind of maybe even goes to the party, gets a lay out of the house. I think he shows up, goes to the kitchen window or the sliding glass doors. I think he immediately goes to Xana and Ethan's room, kills Ethan right away because if he doesn't, then he's going to have to fight off a guy rather than a girl. Then Xana wakes up because she hears him stabbing Ethan, obviously, and then she fights back a little bit, which her dad says that she did have defensive wounds. And I think he kills her. Then I think he goes straight upstairs, who I believe is either Maddie or Kaylee, his intended target. And then I don't know if they're the same room or not, but if they are, it'd probably be a lot easier for him, or he goes from one to the other. But I believe he probably knew them all. Because
so defensive wounds, right? You would think she'd definitely screaming at the top of her lungs. And if they're still awake, but they may not be, the other two girls, other two ladies, they would have heard that if they were awake, right? If they weren't, obviously they might not have heard that because they're only a floor apart, right? Not in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah. So the third floor, you would definitely probably not hear. You know what I mean? From the basement, the only person that they would have maybe heard was Xana.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
On the first floor. Yep.
And I mean, I'm sure like one scream or a little, that's not going to shock somebody who lives at a party house, like.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
And if you see like inside of their house in the windows, you could see just like tons and tons of Truly and Bud Light just all over the place. I mean, they were definitely, and so what I've heard from all over Reddit and everything, that they were a party house and they had a lot of parties there. And in college, it's weird. It's like, you can never just walk in somebody's house and in a normal neighborhood, but in a college town, you could just walk in somewhere having a party and nobody will even think anything of it. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. But like when I was up at Penn State, people did that all the time. Like you wouldn't even know who the people were and they just walk on in like they live there.
But it seems strange that maybe like it sounds like their bedroom doors weren't locked. And if a person allegedly had a stalker, it seems like you would, and people were prone to walking into your apartment randoms, it seems like you would lock your bedroom, no?
I mean, I don't know. Like,
bring out tips that they were right.
Maybe not a stalker, but maybe someone who just like seems a little weird and shows up at your job all the time. Like maybe that was their version of stalker. Maybe not an actual guy who's like, yes, I'm from PA, Ellie. Can you tell by the way I talk?
Kate, did the front door have am I hearing rumors? Was it the front door people knew how to get in type thing? Like it
had like a code. But that was the basement front door. So like that's different than the kitchen one. You know what I mean? If the kitchen one, I live right outside of Philly. I live like near King of Prussia.
I'm leaning on the tour that he was.
I grew up in Manioc though.
That person was already in there when they got home and they just waited.
I also think that I would just speculate and throw something out there that it's someone who lives close, because I feel like a car is like at this day and age, everybody got cameras, they're everywhere. There would be footage of a vehicle coming and going out of there. If that's what happened, someone came there on foot.
And the guy's gonna be full of blood everywhere, all of his clothes and whatnot. So if he either lives alone or he lives with, you know what I mean, and otherwise he just
like how do you get home in a big party college town, even if it's 3-4 in the morning, without being seen really or whatever.
Everything had to go.
You live super close.
Completely, everything had to go completely right for the killer for him to get away with this, in my opinion. And that's why it's more of a crime of passion, because maybe the guy didn't care if he was going to get caught or not, because it was a crime of passion.
They're dusting the outside of the window for fingerprints. There's a photo of it, so I think maybe he might have climbed through that window. So here I'm going to go over all of the facts that they have, like all the rumors they've dispelled already. So
good idea.
Ethan and Xana were seen at the Sigma Chi house. They got home at approximately 1:45. Ethan and Xana are believed to have returned to the residence. It was previously reported that Ethan resided at the home. However, it has been determined that he was only visiting. 2 other roommates were at the residence that night. On November 13th at 11:58 a.m., officers responded to the residence after a 911 call reported an unconscious individual. Upon arrival, officers discovered Kaylee, Madison, Zana, and Ethan deceased inside the residence. Mind you, everyone's making a big deal out of this 911 call. I don't think it's strange. It sounds to me, from what the cops said, that Ethan wasn't like waking. Like, I guess Ethan needed to be up for something, and he wasn't waking up when they called him, so they called his friends. His friends came over, and I guess somebody's friends, or like a third party, came over, a visitor, not
Really?
the roommates, but visitors came to the house, which was not weird. Like, they had people stop by all the time, and they found them, and then they used one of the roommates' phones to call 911. Somebody wasn't waking up. They couldn't wake him up for whatever reason. I don't know if the door was locked, or if they were just trying to call him and they didn't want to go up there because they were afraid maybe they were naked or something in the room. I don't know. And then it sounded like they may have called his friends, or his friends may have come over there looking for him, or somebody's friends came over.
But Kate, wasn't the front door open?
The kitchen door was open.
The kitchen front door, right?
Yeah. But it sounded like to me that maybe it could even have been Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, Jack. He could have even came over, for all I know. Somebody came over that didn't live there the next morning. Maybe he did. All right. So for instance, maybe he got a bunch of missed calls from Kaylee, and then she has the dog. He needs to go pick up the dog or whatever. So he shows up because she's not answering their phone, and then leaves his phone in the car, walks in on, what looks like maybe somebody got hit over the head viciously and they look unconscious. So he panics and goes and grabs a phone and says, hey, it looks like somebody was hit. Like she's hit over the head. I don't know what's going on, whatever. Because a lot of times there's so much blood sometimes. People can't even tell what initially caused the wound or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the 911 operator may have just reported it as an unconscious individual. You get what I'm saying? Like, people are looking way too far into this 911 call, I think. And I've seen that Jack is supported by family. I think, and supposedly he is cleared, not cleared, but police don't think it's him. So Jack, I'm thinking maybe it was Jack who showed up, and maybe he just grabbed the roommate's phone because he left his phone in the car or something like that. I think it was probably Jack. That's just my guess. I don't know, or one of Ethan's friends or something. And the family says Jack would never. He's family to them. Kaylee and him would be married if she wasn't being a brat. That she broke up with him because that was just her being her. But they back him 1,000%. And the police also said they don't think it's him either.
No, that kitchen door that was open, was that because maybe he was knocking on the front, couldn't get in, so he went around the back?
No, it was like the killer left it open.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. The killer left it open. Is that how he ended up eventually getting into the house, or did he call the roommates to come down and then they opened the door for him?
I'm not sure. They didn't specify. They just specified that a third party came to the house and called 911 from a roommate's phone, and that's like the call was made from a roommate's phone, but it wasn't one of the roommates who called.
And they won't release who it was yet?
No. So, all right, so an unconscious individual. And then they said autopsies were conducted on November 17th. The Latah County coroner confirmed the identity of the 4 murdered individuals and their cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing. The coroner stated that the 4 victims were likely asleep. Some had defensive wounds, and each was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of SA. As part of the investigation, detectives seized the contents of 3 dumpsters on King Road, I believe, to look for discarded clothes or a knife. They didn't find anything in those dumpsters, apparently. They have also contacted local businesses to determine if a fixed blade knife had been recently purchased. So they know that it's a K-bar knife, I guess, based on like the wounds or whatever.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, I'm sure people are, Linda. That's just how people like. There's literally no evidence tying to it besides her calling him the night before. But according to the family, she was calling him in a sense where she texted him during those calls and said, like, please come over. We have a dog together. I guess she was probably drunk and thought he was ignoring her, and she wanted him to come over. They were together for 9 years, and then she broke up with him. So she was probably begging him to come over. He wasn't answering. She probably thought he was with another girl or something. So she's like, Maddie, call someone to, call Jack's phone. Mm-hmm. And then she texts him and says, please, we have a dog together. Come over. And he's sleeping, so he doesn't get it until the next morning. And then he probably comes over when he sees it the next morning.
So what I have to say is real quick, the person that unalived, as we use all of them, he has to live by himself, because otherwise anybody he lives with has to know he has that type of knife.
I think this is.
Yeah, but I mean, that knife is pretty there's a lot, like, I did a show the other night, and there was a lot of people in chat saying, well, I have a K-bar knife, and I have a K-bar knife, so it doesn't seem like a super uncommon knife. Like,
even if like 5 or 10 college kids had that on, you know what I mean? Yeah. They would, I'm pretty sure whoever they lived with,
somebody would know.
Yes, they would know. You know what I mean? And so now it's starting to make me think like this might be an older gentleman, maybe, and that lives by himself type thing. Because I know they didn't check everywhere, but they didn't find any clothes or any type of discarded evidence. And maybe he just got in his car and drove straight home, and he lives by himself, or. Mm-hmm. It's just really weird that anybody's friend, family member, or roommates wouldn't know that person has that type of knife, and then this is all over the news.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, all right, so they said, at this time, detectives do not believe the 2 surviving roommates or the male in the grub truck surveillance video are involved in this crime. Additionally, online reports of victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. The identity of the 911 caller has not been released. As part of the event, I said that. The dumpsters, they searched the dumpsters. I don't think they found anything. Oh, I did see the tattoos, Molson Man. Was it like the wings and all their initials? I think I did see their tattoos.
What's that about?
Oh, the surviving roommates got like matching tattoos, and they're like wings. And then it says like Maddie, Kaylee, like MK. EX or something like that, or MEKX, or I don't know, their initials. And then hold on, trying to see. All right, so the cell phone used to call 911 belonged to one of the surviving roommates. Due to the ongoing investigation, the identity of the caller has not been released, but now we know it was by somebody who came over and used their phone, because they announced that. At this time, detectives have investigated the private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on the 13th and do not believe he is involved in the crime. Detectives believe that on November 12th, the 2 surviving roommates had been out in Moscow community separately, but returned home by 1 a.m. The 2 did not wake up until later on November 13th. Initially, the 911 call made at 11:58 on November 13th requested aid for an unconscious person. The call was made from inside the residence on one of the roommates' cell phones. Moscow Police Department arrived shortly thereafter and found all 4 victims. Detectives confirmed the victims were located on the 2nd and 3rd floor of the residence. Detectives are aware of multiple phone calls from victims Madison and Kaylee to a male. This information is part of an ongoing investigation. Detectives are seeking all outside surveillance video taken from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Sunday, November 13th, 2022, from businesses and residents within the geographical area below. And they show. I read all that. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Okay, updated. Detectives are releasing that on the morning of November 13th, the surviving roommates summoned friends to the residence because they believed one of the second-floor victims had passed out and was not waking up. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call requested aid for an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence on one of the surviving roommates' cell phone. Multiple people talked with the 911 dispatcher before a Moscow police officer arrived at the location. Officers entered the residence and found the 4 victims on the 2nd and 3rd floors. Now, let me also add, I know some people probably wouldn't be scared, but if you're a college-age kid and you walk up and you see somebody laying on the floor and there's blood around them and you don't know what happened, you might be scared and not want to touch anything and not want to go any further. And you might just want to call somebody and go, oh my God, I don't know what the hell's going on, but somebody's laying on the floor and they have blood. I don't know what to do. And then call 911. Like, I would be scared and I probably wouldn't want to run over and grab the person and start inspecting them. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody would feel comfortable doing that. And when you're in one of the, like, all right, for instance,
how far were they found away from each other, Kate? Though the person that was unconscious, who was the one that was unconscious that they were talking?
They didn't specify which one they thought was unconscious or who they saw first or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know who they particularly like thought that about or whatever, but unless you're like in school for like nursing or something, people would probably be scared, you know, and want to call 911 and not know what to do. Like, that's a scary situation for young kids. Or they're not young, but they're college age. You know what I mean?
I would just think they would see the other person in that room that's, you know what I mean? Also, you know what I mean? And called it all
or
in.
Maybe they, like, the door was cracked open and they can only see like a little bit or something like that, you know? I don't know.
It's all very, really, really, really obscurely weird.
It was initially reported that it was suspected the unalived one was passed out, did not notice the blood at first. Yeah. I mean, they might have only been able to see like a little bit or something like that. Maybe not looking, they didn't look through into the whole thing, or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right, I think.
All right, so or maybe they had blankets over them or something. I don't know.
But did the report say that the call was made from one of the victims' phone? Is that what I heard you say?
The call was made from a surviving roommate's phone, but not like by the surviving room. Well, they didn't say, but they basically said they called people to come over because they thought someone was unconscious and wasn't waking up. And then those people came and then they called 911. So they initially, sorry, give me a second. Sorry, I had a frog in my throat for a minute. They initially thought that, like, they called somebody to help them, and then the person came, and then they called 911. That's what it sounds like to me. All right, so how do I hear myself? At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe any individual at the residence when 911 was called is involved in a crime. So whoever was there when they called 911, they don't believe is involved. MPD cautions the public not rely on rumors and remains committed to keeping the public informed. We urge reliance on official channels for accurate information. Let me see. All right, on the night of the incident, officers located a dog at the residence. The dog was unharmed and turned over to animal services and then released to a responsible party. Detectives are aware of the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office incident of the report of a skinned dog and have determined it is unrelated. So they're saying the skinned animal is unrelated.
All right.
Detectives are also aware of the Moscow police incident of the report of deceased animals left on the resident's property. This was determined to be wildlife activity and unrelated to the incident. So, and now they made...
What animal skins a dog?
I don't know, some freaking weirdo for sure.
What the hell?
Hold on a second. All right, so this is weird. Police have been working with the family about this incident to provide clarity. The father of the family provided in the statement to share their Moscow community. Just before 5:15 p.m. last night, 911 received a call reporting suspicious activity in the 600 block of Blaine Street. A female caller informed the dispatcher that she saw a male on the front passenger seat of her vehicle when she opened the door. The female was with her sister, slammed the car door and ran screaming from the car and called 911. Multiple neighbors heard the screams and came to assist. They checked the area but did not find anyone. The neighbors told responding officers that they had not seen anyone in or exit the vehicle. The passerby informed the sisters of seeing a male chasing them and left before speaking with officers. They were unable to confirm these details, and the officer was unaware of this information during the time of the call. Police checked the area. Officers contacted a male matching this description, but learned he and a friend had just returned from a restaurant, and the male approached the sisters to help. The male withdrew and waited to talk with officers when accused of being involved. Based on their knowledge at the time, officers closed the incident as unfounded. The term is used to close an incident that cannot be initially substantiated. However, if additional information is obtained, the incident can be reopened. Online reports created immediate speculation that implied there was a link to this incident with the ongoing homicide investigation. We urge residents to remain alert and vigilant. Additionally, we remind the public that investigative releases of information will be through official channels. So they're not saying it's not related, but they're saying they can't substantiate anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made a resource web page to set up as a consolidated location for information resources related to the investigation. They have looked extensively into information they received about Kaylee Goncalves having a stalker. They pursued hundreds of pieces of information related to this topic and have not been able to verify or identify a stalker. You would think if she had a stalker, she would have texted one of her friends and been like,
people would know.
Yeah, like, dude, this weirdo's following me, or, you know what I mean? I feel like they would know if there was a stalker. Roommates, white hoodie guy, food truck guy, Uber share ride person, they're all cleared. So, weapon, there has been much conversation about the terminology used to describe the weapon. The type of knife thought to be used in the attacks is believed to be a fixed blade knife. Detectives continue to look for the weapon.
When you said 6 blade, is it 6 inches?
A fixed blade.
Do you know how large the knife might have been?
They said it was a pretty big knife, so probably they said like a Rambo style knife.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Someone's got to know that someone has a knife like that.
I think this person lives close by. I think it's a white male from age 18 to 30. I feel like it's someone that they know, someone that's been in the house, someone that knows multiple, if not, I think they know all these victims. And it's somebody who's a known weirdo who has multiple weapons, a hunter, perhaps, somebody who has multiple blades, bows, guns, and somebody who was made fun of or felt rejected or outcast from them, and then they took it out on them.
Mm-hmm. I think they know every single one of them as well. I think maybe they weren't completely familiar with like maybe the whole layout of the house or whatever, but I think they definitely knew them all. I think it was probably somebody, like you said, who's probably around that same age range, who felt slighted or became like oddly obsessed with them or something like that.
Yeah, I guess it has to be, because if they know where everybody is in that house, it wouldn't be an older gentleman, right? Or lady, you know what I mean? But just to say that.
So here's the weird part.
Someone in their 20s.
Initially, it sounded like the cop said that Kaylee's ex-boyfriend they don't believe he's involved. But then on their website, it says who is not believed to be involved. And it says 2 surviving roommates, Mail in the grub truck surveillance video. Private party driver who took Kaylee and Madison home on November 13th were none of the individuals at the residence when 911 was called. So they don't particularly say her ex-boyfriend was cleared, so I'm curious. A typical Rambo-style knife is around 8 to 10 inches.
Jesus. That's like a sword.
So they said that the killer was super sloppy, from what I remember, and that the killer was sloppy. And hold on one second, I'm gonna grab my phone real quick.
Go ahead. Which would also like even more hint towards crime of passion. You know what I mean? Because it was done out of passion.
Yeah, he left it. They said he left a mess. Like he left a huge mess.
Hey, Texas.
And that
yeah, everything had to go right. When I say right for him, wrong. Right, but wrong. But right for him to. At this point, how long's it been? A week and a half now, almost.
About almost 10 days, I think. Or no, it happened on the 12th and the 13th. So about 10 days, I guess now.
Wow.
Yeah, I can drop my email.
I think Sterling's right with that age and also the rejectedness and whatnot, and he.
King Street homicide. All right, I'm going to save this so we have it. But I am going to end this because it is late and I have to be up.
It is late.
Early. Take my kid to school.
Thank you for having me, Kate.
Yes, thank you for coming up, and thanks for coming up, Sterling.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me. I'll like and subscribe.
Yes, please.
Thanks,
and you're welcome anytime. Both of y'all come up.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Good night.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Yeah, I'm starting. I can feel my eyes getting heavy. And I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get some snacks before I go to sleep. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Well, let's see. Today's Tuesday. I don't know if I'll be back by Thanksgiving, so in case I am not, have a happy Thanksgiving. Eat all the good turkey food. I am dying for some string bean casserole. Like, I've been thinking about it all week, and I just want some so bad. I just told my hubby to get me a turkey bowl. Actually, hold on a minute. A turkey bowl from our store. And I'm going to call him real quick and tell him that. So, yeah. Sorry, I told him to get me a turkey bowl. So at Wawa, it's like my favorite place to go. If Ellie's still in here, she knows what Wawa is. They have this bowl, right? It's turkey, gravy, stuffing, and mashed potatoes all in this bowl, and you just mix it together, and it's like Thanksgiving in a bowl, and it's so good. And they have it like all winter, so you can have Thanksgiving like every week, but they don't have string bean casserole, which I really want, but and of course I love football too. So I play fantasy football, and you know what? Next year we're gonna do it because it all went to shit this year. But I wanted to start an all women's. Yeah, I'm getting one tonight, and I'm so excited. You have Wawas? Oh, good. So you know what a turkey bowl is then. But yeah, I love string bean casserole, and my aunt makes this. Oh my god, it's called. If anyone wants the recipe ever, I will send it to you because it's so good. It's called Potatoes Aunt Kathy, and you boil potatoes so they're soft but not like too soft, and then you shred them all. Probably like 8 potatoes, 8 russet potatoes, 8 large russet potatoes. Then you shred them with a cheese grater in this big, like foil pan, right? Then you make this sauce. It's 2 cups of cheddar cheese, a stick of butter, like a small, not small, but like an average size cup of sour cream. Not the super big one, but like the pint of sour cream, a whole pint, a whole stick of butter. So what did I say? 2 cups of cheese, a whole pint of sour cream, a whole stick of butter, 2 tablespoons of minced onion, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, and I think salt, a little bit of salt. And then you mix it in a pan till it turns like a liquid. And then you get this liquid and you pour it into the potatoes. And then you mix the potatoes around. And then you put 2 more cups of cheddar cheese on top, and then corn flakes on top. And then you heat it in the oven at like 350 for like 45 minutes or something like that. I have to actually get maybe 325 or something, or like 45 minutes, something like that. But it's so good. Oh, it's amazing. It's called Potatoes Aunt Kathy. So if anyone, Royal Farms. Wait, who said Royal Farms? Oh, here we go. Oh, we have Royal Farms. I heard Royal Farms. Well, I have a Royal Farms near me, but it's not that close, so I don't go all the time. But my hubby goes to Royal Farms all the time on his way home from work, and he said there's this like shredded spicy chicken sandwich. I think he said it was shredded, and he said it is so freaking good. He like didn't want it to end. You call that cheesy potatoes? Well, it was my Aunt Kathy's recipe, so we just call it Potatoes Aunt Kathy, but it's so good. And but yeah, I heard great things about Royal Farm, like that it's amazing. I eat anything but meatloaf and salmon. I don't like fish. I like shellfish, and I love like California spicy crab California rolls for sushi, but that's the only one I like. I don't like the tuna or anything. I like shrimp. I don't like. I can eat white fish, like cod. I think cod's white fish, right? I don't know. The ones that are super white that don't taste fishy. Shredded chicken sandwich from Royal Farm is the bomb. All right, I think I got it right then. He said it's like a spicy shredded chicken sandwich. He said it's so good. He was like, I don't want it to end. Like, it's just so good. He called me and had to tell me all about it, which I'm going to have to try it now. So, salmon is so fishy. Yeah, I don't like salmon. French onion, dry soup mix. 1 tub sour cream mix. Set in fridge for an hour or so. Serve with basic crackers. Ooh. I love French onion soup, so I'd love French onion dip. My mom used to make this like taco dip where it was like all the taco stuff, but she would put the taco seasoning and mix it with cream cheese. She'd mix taco seasoning with cream cheese and sour cream and make it like a soft mix with cheese, the meat, all that stuff, and then put it in the oven till everything melted. And it was so good. The dip. Oh, I love that. I could eat that. Yeah, I can only eat the shellfish and really white fish, especially if it's like fried, like there's like fried fish. That doesn't taste like fish to me. It tastes like not chicken. I don't know. They don't have turkey. How do they not have turkey right before Thanksgiving? All right, mac and cheese and brisket will do. Lobster, yeah, lobster is banging. And crab, I love crab. I just got my 7-year-old to try sushi and he liked it. I'm shocked. I'm trying to think what else I like on Thanksgiving. I really love string bean casserole. I don't know what it is. I just love string beans. Oh, so my mom used to make, she called it chicken chow mein, but it's not, I don't know what the heck it's called, but she gets like chicken, like you get like a rotisserie and just shred all the chicken off and then mix it with cream of chicken, cream of mushroom, and cream of celery. Mix it all together with string beans and then cream of mushroom, cream of chicken, cream of celery. That's what I said, right? Yeah. And then with string beans and then those like crispy onions, she'd put that on top too. That was really good. String bean casserole and that is different. So string bean casserole to me is just like string beans and the cream of mushroom and cream of chicken or whatever with the toasted almonds. But bacon and cream cheese. That sounds slamming. You might have to send me a recipe for that, Pecan. Or in Discord. Send me that recipe because that sounds so good. Bacon and cream cheese. Woo! I need to try that because I love anything with green beans. But it has to be like the real long, crispy, fresh green beans. You know what I mean? Like it can't be like crappy cut ones. It gotta be like those long, crunchy, good ones. You're gonna send me a pic of your aunt. All right. I like ham and stuff. You know, like I dig the ham. I love potatoes. I'm not a big pie person. I like pumpkin pie. I like banana cream pie, and that's about as far as I'll go. I don't like apple pie. I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I don't like the texture of, like, the wet apples. I just can't do it. It doesn't do it for me. Yeah, I could eat turkey and stuffing. I'm telling you, these turkey bowls from Wawa, well, you would know most, man. You know Wawa, right? The turkey bowls from Wawa are just so good. Like, I just get mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey, and gravy, and just mix it all together, and it's amazing. Yeah, so the crispy, like the onion things that we're talking about. I don't like wet apples. I don't like the taste of it. I can't do it, but I do love pumpkin. I like pumpkin rolls are good. I'm not a big cinnamon fan either. Like, well, I like cinnamon on certain things, like just a little sprinkle on top. But like, I hate when people use it in like cooking when they're cooking dinner. Like, I hate when people use too much cinnamon when they make the burrito tacos or I know they use it in like the Indian rice. They use like, I don't like that taste, but I do like cinnamon like sprinkled on top of stuff. That's as far as I'll go with cinnamon. Asian sea bass or barramundi? Am I saying that right? Only fish worth the effort. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I could do ice cream or like the charcuterie boards. I think I'm saying that right. I like those too. I could eat a whole charcuterie board, just sit there and eat everything. I'll be like full by the time the food comes out because I'll eat so much of that crap. Or the big mozzarella balls that are dipped in like the olive oil. Oh, they're so good. I have a super Italian family, so they'll have like the super Italian, charcuterie board layout. Chocolate cream pie? Oh, I could do that. I don't like anything too chocolatey, but I could do that. I like cheesecake. I love cheesecake. All right, it's making me hungry now. He got me a burger instead, which I'm disappointed because I didn't want a burger. I wanted a turkey bowl, but they didn't have any, so I'm sad. But yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I'll probably be back Friday. I mean, I don't know unless. Actually, you know what? I lied. Tomorrow, my kid's going to his dad's because he's going to the Thanksgiving parade Thursday morning. So I might be bored tomorrow night. And if hubby's gaming, then maybe I'll just shoot on a live and come on. So keep your eyes peeled. I might be back. But if hubby wants to hang out with me since we have a kid-free night, then, it could go either way. So. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Oh, fancy mac and cheese. Oh, that sounds good too. I know. I'm gaining all the weight just listening to all this, but it just sounds good. Now I'm all hyped for Thanksgiving. But maybe I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe not. I don't know yet, but I'll set it early so you guys can see. I saw the Watts house sold. I don't know why everyone says they wouldn't buy that house. I'd buy that house if it was sold cheaper. You know what I mean? It's a nice house. I don't know. Maybe I'm just desensitized to like murder and stuff, but I don't know. It wouldn't bother me to live in the Watts house. Hot cinnamon sugar donuts. Ugh. Cool. You recognize the savory Indian nature of spices. I do. I can tell. Like, I love the Indian food where I don't know what it's called, but I always get it from the food truck. Before I go, let me just say how much I love this. It's that like rice that's super spiced and it tastes a little bit like cinnamon mixed in, but I can deal with it if it got, and they got that like cucumber cool yogurt sauce that goes on top, and the hot, like really, really fire hot sauce and chicken and lamb. Oh, and then they got the iceberg lettuce to eat with it, so it's like crunchy. Oh my god, it's slamming. I don't know what they call that, but it's like the perfect blend of everything. Hot, cool, 764K. Hell no. Hell no. All right. I would not pay that much for it. It's a beautiful house, but I would never pay that much for it. But pecan, you better have pecan pie. Thanks, Jen. Feel better, girl. But yeah, I forget what I was saying. Oh, the Indian food. Whatever that is called. I don't know what it is, but it is fucking slamming. And it's hot as shit, but I love spicy and cool and crunchy all at the same time. And whatever that's called, it's good. But yeah, I'm getting way too excited for food here. Can you tell that I'm a fatty and I eat all the time? I can literally eat probably more than most dudes. Like, I love food. Yeah, it's like curry. No, not curry. I hate curry. I lied. I fucking hate curry. That tastes like shit. No. It's chicken and lamb. And this really like, it's like rice, like spiced up rice. And then it's got this hot sauce that they squirt all over top, and this shit is friggin' hot. It's like fire hot. And then they make like a cucumber yogurt cool sauce that they spray on top of that sauce. And then they line the side of it all with iceberg lettuce. So you eat the lamb, the chicken, the rice, the hot sauce, and the cool all together. So it's like really hot and really cool and crunchy all at the same time in your mouth, and it's amazing. I just can't remember what it's called, but it's so good. And it's not curry. I don't know. I was so hyped to try curry one night because I had never tried it, and I made it, and it tasted like absolute shit, and it smells so fucking bad. I'll never eat curry again. Sorry if I'm offending anyone, but I hate that shit. Dave liked it, but I didn't. I was like, no way, never happening again. Yes, everyone post pics of food in the Discord. If you're not in my Discord here, I'll share it real quick. I want to see all your food because I love food. Hold on. I'm going to share my Discord server. If you're not in there, get in there. We talk about cases and stuff. Well, anyway, I'll find out what it is. And I can probably Google it right now. Hold on. It's Indian food. You know, this is like the longest goodbye ever, but Indian rice, hot sauce, cucumber sauce. I don't know what it's called. It's like but whoever thought of this lovely mixture of things, it is just chicken, lamb, rice, sauce. I don't know what the hell it's called. Halal. It's halal chicken and lamb over rice. That's basically what it is. Halal. I don't know if that's just like a whole thing of food. Yeah, it does. It does look like shit too. It tastes. Yeah, but chicken biryani maybe. Chicken biryani. That might be it. It looks like it could be it. Chicken basmati rice. Maybe not. It's basically halal chicken and lamb over rice. I'm sure if you look that up, you can find it. And it's like a really, really hot dish, but with really, really cool things on the side. All right, I'm really going this time. I might be back tomorrow again. If not, happy Thanksgiving. Love you all. Thanks for coming. Bye, everyone. Good night. I'm gonna make everyone go eat now.